Chapter 1160. The opening of the Shura Bloody Road was a huge event in the Molla dynasty. Its influence was equivalent to the Sword Sun Battle of the Sword dynasty. At that time, the royal family of the Molla dynasty and the 6 major forces would send their prodigies there. In addition to these prodigies, other rogue cultivators, demonic thieves, bandits, and other martial artists from all walks of life would also go. More importantly, their results in the Shura Bloody Road would also affect their ranking on the blood ranking. One could imagine how fierce the competition would be when the Shura Bloody Road opened. Coupled with the valiant folk customs of the Molla dynasty, there would definitely be a bloody and cruel competition. Just as Dugu was about to follow the Sky Demon Sect's team to the Shura Bloody Road, the other major forces and the royal family of the Molla dynasty all set off. Outside the royal palace of the Molla dynasty, a cold and elegant woman stood there indifferently. She didn't wear a dress, and only her important parts were covered with black armor, revealing her snow-white skin. Her gray hair fluttered in the wind. The mask covered half of her pretty face, revealing only her fiery red lips. Coupled with her pale and cold face, she looked cold and charming. This beautiful figure was Princess Luoho. At this moment, a charming and dignified middle-aged woman in a black dress stood beside Princess Luoho. She smiled faintly and said, "Luo, this Shura Bloody Road will choose a suitable husband for you to be the prince consort of the Molla dynasty. This way, if the prodigy battlefield opens, you can take care of him." This beautiful woman was none other than Princess Luoho's birth mother, the demon queen of the Molla dynasty. She was also a top false saint expert. "Mother, may I ask how many men in this world are worthy of your daughter?" Princess Luoho's expression was still indifferent as she spoke coldly. She didn't think that she could choose a husband on the Shura Bloody Road. She also didn't think that any man in the Molla dynasty was worthy of her. Oh, not even Yi Tsongshan, who's ranked first on the blood ranking. The demon queen smiled faintly. "Mother, where did he come from?" Princess Luoho frowned. She was a little interested in Yi Tsongshan to be able to suppress her and become the first on the blood ranking. His origin is mysterious. He might be from that world. The demon queen said. "What? He has such an identity?" Princess Luoho's eyes dimmed. "Why? Are you tempted?" asked the infernal queen with a chuckle. "Your daughter will personally defeat him," Princess Luoho said indifferently. "By the way, there's actually another person on the Azura blood path that you should pay attention to," the Devil Empress said. "Mother, are you saying that the new holy son of the Heavenly Devil sect slaughtered the white-haired sword demon of the 13 cities? Princess Luoho had an indifferent expression. "Why? You don't fancy that person?" asked the infernal queen. "The people he slaughtered were all nameless people. Even after he killed Yuan Huang and the others, they were nothing more than that," said Princess Luoho. Even Yi Tsongshan, who was ranked first on the blood ranking, could not move her completely. Not to mention Dugu Chioma, who was only slightly famous. "Hee, my daughter sure has good taste." The infernal queen chuckled. "However, I'm quite interested in someone." Princess Luoho seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but lick her red lips with her pink tongue. "Oh, who is it?" The infernal queen was really surprised this time. Her daughter had always been cold and bloodthirsty. She did not have much emotion. She was actually interested in someone else? That person with the heavenly calamity star destiny? Or that person who caused the demon emperor to descend to the 9 heavens, said Princess Luoho. The infernal queen shook her head when she heard that. "Daughter, you're thinking too far ahead. Such an unparalleled demon king might not be in the Molla dynasty. There are even rumors that the demon king is a demon Dao prodigy that the demon sect has been hiding." The Molla dynasty was not weak, but it was not on the same level as the demon sect of the 3 major sects. Princess Luoho shook her head when she heard that. She was just thinking about it. She did not think that the unparalleled demon king who caused the phenomenon would be in the Molla dynasty. Afterward, the infernal queen led Princess Luoho and the rest of the Molla dynasty's royal family to the Azura blood path. 2 figures stood on top of a mountain in the mystic demon palace's encampment. One of them was dressed in black and gold armor and a blood-red cloak. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and he exuded a cold and austere aura. He was the strongest heaven pride of the mystic demon palace, Yuan Hua, who ranked third on the blood ranking. He was also Yuan Huang's brother. Beside Yuan Hu stood a strange young man in a blood-red robe. His long hair draped over his shoulders and covered one of his eyes. He was also a heaven pride of the mystic demon palace, Master Hun Demon, who ranked fourth on the blood ranking. He specialized in the Tao of the soul. Master Hun Demon had a strange smile on his face. Yuan Hua, how are you going to kill Duguqioma? Yuan Hua's frosty face was devoid of any warmth when he heard this. Although my younger brother is trash, he is still my younger brother no matter what. Since Duguqioma does not care about me, then I, Yuan Hua, will let him experience what it means to live a life worse than death. As Yuan Hua's voice faded, a powerful and biting cold qi erupted from his body. He had reached the 4th level of the divine dwelling realm. The same situation occurred in the demonic beast sect and the 6th desire demon sect. Whether it was Shan Yu of the demonic beast sect or Miao Yu of the 6th desire demon sect, they were determined to kill Duguqioma with their own hands. It could be said that before the Azura Blood Road opened, Duguqioma had already been targeted from all sides. In another boundary of the Mola dynasty, a woman in a black dress swept a glance over the corpses on the ground and shook her head. It's unwise to provoke one. Her face was covered with a black veil, and her eyes were as clear as water. She was tall and had amazing curves, like a peerless enchantress. One opened her hand. In her fair palm was a pitch-black bead that was faintly glowing. It was this bead that allowed one to find the Mola dynasty. According to the demonic bead's reminder, the person who caused the demon emperor to descend to the 9th heaven is undoubtedly in the Mola dynasty. The biggest thing in the Mola dynasty recently is the Azura Blood Road. Wonder was extremely intelligent. Hundreds of thoughts spun in her mind, and her beautiful eyes flashed. Then she chuckled softly and her figure flashed in the direction of the Azura Blood Road. I must find the person who caused the demon emperor phenomenon. I can't let Yi Songyue and Gu Xiaoyang get the upper hand. At the same time, in another boundary, Yi Songyue and Gu Xiaoyang's figures streaked across the sky. Are you sure we can meet the person who caused the demon emperor phenomenon on the Azura Blood Road? Yi Songyue frowned, still somewhat worried. She had to stop Wuxia from finding the person who caused the demon emperor phenomenon. Fairy Songyue, don't worry. I can't say for sure, but there's an 80% to 90% chance that I'm right. When the time comes, we'll work together to kill the person who caused the demon emperor phenomenon, then suppress the witch, and finally seize the true opportunity on the Azura Blood Road. That way there'll be no mistakes. Gu Xiaoyang thought deeply and smiled faintly. Yi Songyue nodded slightly when she heard this. With her and Gu Xiaoyang's strength, they didn't need to worry about anyone other than the witch. They didn't take the prodigies of the Mola dynasty seriously. Chapter 1161. Just as the entire Molo dynasty was in an uproar because of the Azura Bloody Road, in an unknown small city, the thick smell of blood filled the air. Tens of thousands of creatures in the city had all died. Corpses were piled up like mountains, and blood flowed like rivers. In this hellish scene, a handsome young man in black clothes and black hair sat on a pile of corpses. He was wiping the blood-stained sword in his hand with a white cloth. His appearance was outstanding. His skin was white, and he was very handsome. What was special about him was his eyes. They were black without any white, like 2 obsidian stones. My 6th blasphemy sword formation has finally been refined. The young man smiled faintly. In order to refine the 6th blasphemy sword formation, he had slaughtered 6 cities. It could be said that other than Duguqioma, he was the only ruthless person who had slaughtered so many cities. The handsome young man with black eyes was the mysterious number 1 on the blood ranking, Yi Songshan. Sir, it's time for the Azura Bloody Road to open. At this moment, a pale old man slowly descended from the sky and cupped his hands respectfully to the young man. The old man's cultivation had reached the false saint realm. A false saint cupped his hands to Yi Songshan. Yi Songshan's origin was mysterious. Oh, is that so? The opportunity is finally here. Hearing this, Yi Songshan's black eyes glowed. But sir, is the record true? Is that person's inheritance really in the deepest part of the Azura Bloody Road? The old man asked. It can't be wrong. As long as I get that person's inheritance, I'll be able to defeat everyone in the battlefield of geniuses. Other than Di Haoyin and a few other geniuses, I won't be afraid of anyone else. Yi Songshan's eyes flashed with battle intent. Hearing this, the old man nodded slightly. Then he took out a flying boat. The two of them rowed the boat and headed toward the Azura Bloody Road. The Blood Demon Valley was a special place in the Molo dynasty. It was the entrance to the Azura Bloody Road. The Azura Bloody Road opened once a year. The Azura blood that was passed down among the cultivators of the Molo dynasty came from the Azura Bloody Road. It could be said that the Azura blood was the lifeblood of the Moro dynasty's martial artists. This was also why the Heavenly Devil sect would satisfy all of Duga's requests and recruit him. The Heavenly Demon sect had already ranked last 4 times. If they ranked last again this time, then they would lose the qualifications to participate in the Azura Blood Road. This was undoubtedly a fatal blow to the Heavenly Demon sect. As time passed, large batches of cultivators gathered outside the Blood Demon stream. Aside from the Mo Luo royal family and the 6 major powers, many itinerant cultivators would also come here to try their luck. But because of the special pressure within the Azura Blood Road, as well as the restrictions imposed by the royal family and the 6 great forces, no one above the divine dwelling stage was allowed to enter. However, even with such restrictions, there were still many people who came to participate. After all, the Mola dynasty had no lack of desperados. If he could make a great fortune in the Azura Blood Road, then he wouldn't have to worry about not having enough Azura blood to cultivate for the next several years. Gradually, the number of martial artists outside the Blood Demon stream increased from a few thousand to over 10,000, and then to 50,000. The number was still increasing. At this moment, various forces began to arrive. The Black Voodoo Cult, the 6 Desired Demon Sect, the Demonic Beast Sect, and the Blood-Clothed Tower. The arrival of each force would cause a wave of exclamations. After all, the Azura Blood Road was the stage for these forces' prodigies. The other martial artists were just there to serve as a foil. On the 6 Desired Demon Sect's ship, a woman swept her gaze and said indifferently, "The Heavenly Demon Sect hasn't arrived yet?" This woman was extremely strange. She was bald and dressed in a monk's robe like a nun. However, her face was extremely seductive. Her red lips, white teeth, and milky white skin gave her a special allure. This woman was the prodigy of the 6 Desired Demon Sect, ranked 8th on the blood ranking Miao Yu. Although she was dressed like a nun, she had absorbed the essence of many men and turned them into dried corpses. In another direction, a gray-robed youth laughed and said, "Haha, Miao Yu, you can't hold back anymore?" He was Shan Yu of the Demonic Beast Sect, ranked 9th on the blood ranking. Miao Yu heard that Duga's demonic appearance is devilishly handsome, and his body is strong. "I really can't hold back. His body's essence must be very vigorous." Miao Yu stuck out the tip of her tongue and licked her red lips, adding a bit of seductiveness to her. Looking at Miao Yu's appearance, Shan Yu trembled slightly. This Miao Yu was definitely a femme fatale. At this moment, another 2 forces arrived in the distant sky. They were the Mara royal family and the Mystic Demon Palace. On the Mara royal family's side, the Demon Queen and Princess Luo Ho stood at the bow of the ship. The mother and daughter were both cold and beautiful. However, no martial artist dared to look at them directly. The Demon Queen was the wife of the Mara Lord. Naturally, no one dared to look at her directly. Princess Luo Ho wore revealing clothes and was incomparably cold and beautiful. However, no one dared to look at her. This was because there was once a rumor that a prodigy stared at Princess Luo Ho with a burning gaze. His eyes were directly dug out by Princess Luo Ho's fingers, and his cultivation was crippled. Princess Luo Ho's ruthless methods had spread throughout the Mara dynasty. On the Mystic Demon Palace's side, Yuan Hua and Master Hun Demon attracted a lot of attention. As the 3rd and 4th existences on the blood ranking, Yuan Hua and Master Hun Demon could almost do whatever they wanted in the Azura Blood Road if they worked together, as long as they didn't encounter Princess Luo Ho and the other person. Just as everyone was thinking that the mysterious number 1 on the blood ranking was still here, a flying boat came across the sky from afar. Unlike the mighty momentum of the other forces, there were only 2 people standing on this flying boat. It was Yi Songshan and the old man. The number 1 on the blood ranking Yi Songshan is here. Everyone's attention was focused on the handsome young man with black eyes standing on the flying boat. As the number 1 on the blood ranking, there had never been a prodigy who could truly force Yi Songshan to use his full strength. The old man beside Yi Songshan was also a powerful false saint expert. Without the protection of this false saint expert, Yi Songshan wouldn't be a match for the older generation no matter how strong he was. Seeing Yi Songshan's arrival, the demon queen couldn't help but smile. Yi Songshan, are you interested in being the Mara dynasty's son-in-law? What? Hearing this, the whole place was in an uproar. Many male warriors were unwilling to accept this. The Mara dynasty had the intention to recruit Yi Songshan as the son-in-law? Hey, I don't mind. It depends on whether the princess is willing or not. Yi Songshan chuckled. His status was more than enough for Princess Luoho. It could even be said that the Mara dynasty had benefited from it. Yi Songshan, beat me first, Princess Luoho said indifferently. She was indifferent, so it was difficult for her to fall in love with other men. She was only slightly interested in Yi Songshan because of his status and background. It should be difficult for me to find an opponent on the Shura Bloody Road. Yi Songshan smiled indifferently. It wasn't arrogance, but confidence brought about by his strength. Time gradually passed. The bloody light in the Blood Demon Valley illuminated the sky. The Shura Bloody Road was about to open. What's wrong with the Sky Demon sect? Don't tell me they don't dare to come? It's possible. But if they don't come, they'll still be at the bottom and lose their chance. That's not necessarily true. I heard that the white-haired sword demon who massacred 13 cities joined the Sky Demon sect and became the saint. What do you mean by massacring 13 cities? He only massacred some mediocre warriors. Because the Sky Demon sect hadn't arrived yet, it caused a lot of discussion. Chapter 1162. Regarding Duguqioma, the martial artists of the Moro Empire had different opinions. Some believed that Duguqioma was truly strong, otherwise it would have been impossible for him to kill Yuan Huang and the others. But there were also people who believed that Duguqioma's reputation was greater than his strength. But no matter how everyone discussed, the best way to witness one's strength was naturally on the Azura Blood Road. Therefore, everyone was looking forward to seeing how the white-haired sword demon, who had slaughtered 13 cities, would perform on the Azura Blood Road. Just as everyone was discussing noisily, the team of the Heavenly Demon sect finally arrived. Everyone's gaze immediately fell on the bow of the Heavenly Demon sect's ship, and the figure standing in the wind. Duguqioma was dressed in a black robe, his figure slender and straight, and his long white hair added a bit of desolation to him. On his handsome and charming face, the dark golden demon eye was mysterious and deep. Anyone who glanced at it would feel their heart palpitate slightly. Is that the white-haired sword demon who had slaughtered 13 cities? He does look like that, but isn't his cultivation level a bit too low? Yes, he hasn't even reached the divine dwelling stage, and is only at the 9th level of the Heaven and Earth Spirit Bridge. How did he defeat Yuan Huang and the others? It had to be said that Duguqioma's appearance and temperament were indeed in line with everyone's imagination of the white-haired sword demon. But his cultivation level made everyone feel like their glasses were about to pop out. Not to mention the 3rd or 4th level of the divine dwelling stage. At the very least, he had to break through to the divine dwelling stage. But everyone could feel that Duguqioma's cultivation level was only at the 9th level of the Heaven and Earth Spirit Bridge. This cultivation level was indeed too low for the Heaven Prides ranked at the top of the blood ranking. TSK, is that Duguqioma? He is indeed as cold and charming as the rumors say. He suits my taste. Miaoyu's eyes were watery. Her eyes were also watery. She was already thinking about how to squeeze Duguqioma dry. As for Shanyu, there was a hidden coldness in his eyes. Although he and the dead Zonglai of the demonic beast sect were only in the same sect. But no matter what, Duguqioma had slapped the demonic beast sect in the face. Shanyu naturally wanted revenge. Of course, the one who wanted to kill Dugu the most was naturally Yuan Hua from Mystic Demon Palace. As soon as Duguqioma appeared, Yuan Hua's killing intent spread out uncontrollably, causing the surrounding space to freeze. What a strong killing intent. It's Yuan Hua. Tisk tsk, Duguqioma is going to be in big trouble in the Azura Blood Road. Sensing Yuan Hua's piercingly cold killing intent, everyone present felt a chill in their hearts. Yuan Hua, who was ranked third on the blood ranking, was definitely not someone to be trifled with. Duguqioma glanced at Yuan Hua indifferently. His expression was as indifferent as ever, as if he didn't feel Yuan Hua's killing intent. You do have some guts. Yuan Hua spoke, his killing intent like water. I merely helped your mystic demon palace get rid of some trash, Duguqioma said calmly. Yuan Hua was about to attack, but was stopped by Master Han Mo. Once we enter the Azura Blood Road, there will be plenty of opportunities to deal with him, said Master Han Demon. And I, Shan Yu, will also seek justice for Zhong Lai, said Shan Yu. I Miao Yu will also take action. Miao Yu smiled charmingly, staring at Duguqioma with blazing eyes. Seeing that the sky prides of the three major forces were jointly targeting Duguqioma, many people present couldn't help but look at him with some pity. Peitu's face also darkened. Duguqioma's strength was not weak, but a fierce tiger could not fight against a pack of wolves. When the time came, he might really be surrounded and killed by a group of sky prides. As for Qing on the other side, although she kept a distance from Duguqioma, there was a trace of worry in her eyes, but she didn't show it. At this moment, Duguqioma suddenly noticed the Mara royal family. His gaze fell on Princess Luoxia. When the heavenly demon sect arrived, the demon queen also took a look at Duguqioma, but she instantly withdrew her gaze and lost interest. She originally thought that perhaps Duguqioma also had a chance to compete for the position of the emperor's son-in-law. But Duguqioma's cultivation, which was not even at the divine dwelling stage, had already made the demon queen completely lose interest in him. Such a person was not worthy of her daughter. What are you looking at? Princess Luoxia couldn't help scrunching her brows when she saw Duguqioma's gaze fall on her body. No one had ever dared to look at her body so carefully. The people around also looked at Duguqioma in surprise. Didn't he know that no one was allowed to look directly at Princess Luoxia's body? However, Duguqioma's next words stunned everyone present, and their jaws almost fell to the ground. Although she's not particularly outstanding, she's barely qualified to be my woman. Duguqioma's lips curved into a wicked smile. Dead silence. The tens of thousands of Mara Empire experts present held their breaths. What did they just hear? Princess Luoxia was barely qualified to be his woman? The demon queen raised her brows. Princess Luoxia also erupted with murderous intent, her ash-gray hair fluttering in the wind like a female Azura. Even the corner of Peitu's eyes twitched, and his face twitched. This boy, how dare he say such words? Is he tired of living? Peitu felt bitter inside. Duguqioma had many enemies now, including Yuan Hua, Han Mozi, Miao Yu and Shan Yu. None of them were easy to deal with. But now, he even dared to provoke Princess Luoxia, who was ranked second on the blood ranking. Qing bit her lips when she heard this, and a sour and jealous feeling that she had never felt before spread out in her heart. Princess Luoxia's icy gaze under the mask turned to Duguqioma. She was not the kind of woman who only cared about appearance. Only a truly talented and capable man could conquer her. Who do you think you are, a heavenly fiend fate holder? Or a demon emperor phenomenon holder? If you're not, then what qualifications do you have to say such words? Princess Luoxia's tone was icy cold. It was the first time someone had teased her in such a tone. Duguqioma sneered and did not answer. Sorry, he was both a heavenly fiend fate holder and a demon emperor phenomenon holder. However, Duguqioma did not say it out loud, as it was not a good time to expose himself. The reason why Duguqioma said this was not because of Princess Luoxia herself. It was because he could feel that Princess Luoxia's Luoxia fate holder could help him activate the heavenly fiend fate holder. Although Duguqioma had the heavenly fiend fate holder, it did not mean that he could use it. For example, Guzun could only unleash his full power after unsealing the 7-kill fate holder. Duguqioma had a feeling that his heavenly fiend fate holder could be activated with the help of the Luoxia fate holder. At that time, Duguqioma would naturally have another trump card. Looking at Duguqioma, who was targeted by many blood-ranking elites, All the warriors felt that the white-haired sword demon was probably going to die in the Azura Blood Road. Yi Tsongshan also glanced at Duguqioma. He vaguely felt that Duguqioma seemed to be hiding something, but he could not find anything when he looked carefully. Interesting, but no one can stop me in the Azura Blood Road. Yi Tsongshan muttered in his heart. Among the tens of thousands of warriors, there was a woman in a black dress with a cloak hiding her aura. It was Witch Wan. She looked at the sparkling demonic orb in her hand, and a look of surprise flashed across her beautiful eyes. Impossible. Could it be him? This demonic bead could sense the movement of a demon emperor phenomenon holder. Just now, when Duguqioma arrived, this demonic bead had lit up with a resplendent light. What surprised the witch was that if Duguqioma was really a demon emperor phenomenon holder, why was his strength so low? Forget it. When I enter the Azura Blood Road, I will find a way to contact this person. I will understand then. The witch bit her lip. She also understood that Yi Tsangyue and Gu Xiaoyang were very likely hiding in the crowd. Therefore, she could not contact Duguqioma now. She could only look for an opportunity in the Azura Blood Road. Chapter 1163. The witch's guess was indeed correct. Yi Tsangyue and Gu Xiaoyang were indeed hidden in the crowd. Their figures were also concealed by cloaks, but they didn't attract the attention of others. After all, in a place like the Molo Empire, there were too many experts who hid their identities. At this moment, under the hood, Yi Tsangyue's beautiful face was as cold as the moon. She frowned as she looked at Duguqioma in the distance, a look of disgust on her face. He slaughtered 13 cities in a row. I can't believe he's so cold-blooded and ruthless. Yi Tsangyue couldn't be considered a saint, but in her opinion, the act of slaughtering an entire city was a little outrageous. Therefore, Yi Tsangyue instinctively felt a little disgusted by Duguqioma. But there was also a hint of surprise in her eyes, because she felt that Duguqioma's face seemed a little familiar, as though she had seen him somewhere before. She wasn't the only one who felt that way. Gu Xiaoyang's eyes were fixed on Duguqioma. He also felt that he had seen Duguqioma somewhere before. But the evil and cold temperament confused Gu Xiaoyang's judgment. Maybe it's an illusion. Gu Xiaoyang shook his head. He didn't associate Duguqioma with Yi Guchen. After all, Yi Guchen was a person who had died a long time ago in his eyes. When we enter the Azura Blood Road, if we encounter him, we should do our best to get rid of him. The sins he has committed are outrageous, Yi Tsangyue said indifferently. Of course, a madman who kills without blinking an eye can be easily dealt with. Gu Xiaoyang didn't seem to care. A person who hadn't even reached the divine dwelling stage was indeed no different from an ant in his eyes. While Gu Xiaoyang and Yi Tsangyue were secretly sizing up Duguqioma, Duguqioma also vaguely noticed this. After all, he had the talent of the Spirit Devourer clan, and his spiritual perception was extremely sharp. He could detect Gu Xiaoyang and Yi Tsangyue's gazes. Who are those two? Their auras feel a little familiar. Duguqioma thought to himself. Shortly after, the corners of his mouth curled into an icy cold arc. There are more and more interesting people. Looks like my god-devouring sword won't lack for nourishment of fresh blood within the Azura blood path. With the arrival of the various forces, the Azura bloody path was about to begin. The infernal queen waved her hand as countless blood-red rocks the size of pigeon eggs scattered and landed in everyone's hands. Dugu also obtained one from Chioemo. This is, looking at the pigeon egg-sized blood-colored stone in his hand, Dugu raised his eyebrows slightly. The infernal queen said, "This is a bloodstone. It is also used to calculate your results. Within the Azura Blood Road, when you kill blood demons or obtain Azura blood, this bloodstone will automatically calculate your points according to your harvest. And this score is also your ranking in the Azura Blood Road. For the younger generation, it will also affect your ranking on the blood ranking," the Devil Queen explained. I see. Duguqioma understood. This bloodstone was a tool to calculate the points. But what is a blood demon? Duguqioma asked. Hearing this, Pei-Tu explained. The blood demon is a kind of creature unique to the Azura Blood Road. If you want to obtain Azura blood, the most direct way is to kill the blood demon. The blood demon's heart contains Azura blood. Duguqioma nodded. Subsequently, the other Sky Demon sect venerables also patiently explained, afraid that Duguchioma would be at a disadvantage in the Azura Blood Road. There were usually two ways to obtain Azura blood. One was to kill the blood demon. The other was to find the Azura blood pool. The Azura blood pool was the breeding ground of the blood demon. It contained a large amount of Azura blood. However, the Azura blood pool was very rare. Even if one was found, it would lead to fierce competition. Therefore, for ordinary martial artists, killing the blood demon was the safest way. Pei-Tu and the others did not expect Duguchioma to occupy the Azura blood pool. As long as he could safely kill the blood demon and obtain points, it would be enough. Duguchioma nodded slightly, but his eyes flashed with a cold light. He was determined to get the Azura blood pool. After distributing the bloodstones, the various factions and independent martial artists began to enter the Blood Demon Valley. In the Blood Demon Valley, all kinds of plants were blood red. There were also many blood red vines that were like the blood vessels and tendons of a human body. They spread in all directions, giving people a strange feeling. Not long after, Duguchioma saw a blood red door that was 10 feet tall in the deepest part of the Blood Demon Valley. At this moment, a blood red vortex was faintly forming in the blood red door. Is this the entrance to the Azura Blood Road? Duguchioma looked at it. The vortex in the blood red door only appeared once a year. Therefore, the Azura Blood Road also opened once a year. Not long after, the blood red vortex was completely formed. Everyone, you can enter now, the Demon Queen said. The various factions and tens of thousands of martial artists could no longer hold back and swarmed toward the blood red vortex. Duguchioma's figure flashed as he used so close, yet worlds apart, turning into an afterimage as he flashed toward the blood red vortex. As she looked at Duguchioma, who didn't pay any attention to her at all, Qingqing bit her jade lips and stomped her jade feet while a feeling of being wronged suddenly arose in her heart. Duguchioma did not care about her at all. In less than a quarter of an hour, all the participating cultivators had entered the Azura Blood Road. At the same time, the Demon Queen waved her hand again, and a blood-red screen appeared in the air. Tens of thousands of names appeared on the screen. The name of every person who held a bloodstone would appear on it. This way, the Mara royal family and the 6 factions would be able to keep track of the points in real time. Among them, the Sky Demon sect was the most concerned. Pei-Tu and the others stared unblinkingly at Duguchioma's name. If Duguchioma's name disappeared from the screen, it meant that he had fallen. Even if he doesn't want to be first, at least he can't be last. Pei-Tu and the others murmured in their hearts. However, even they were not optimistic about Duguchioma's chances. The reason for that was because the enemies that Duguchioma had provoked were simply too many and too powerful. The various factions in the outside world were watching the screen, hoping that their geniuses could achieve good results. Within the Azura Blood Road, Duguchioma appeared on a blood-red plain. Is this the Azura Blood Road? Duguchioma looked around. The surroundings seemed to be a blood-red world, as if soaked in a layer of blood. It gave off a somewhat oppressive feeling. Whether I can break through to a flawless divine dwelling depends on the opportunities here. Duguchioma did not hesitate. His figure flashed as he began to search for opportunities. Because the martial artists who entered the Azura Blood Road were randomly teleported, Qingqing and the others from the Sky Demon sect were not by Duguchioma's side. Duguchioma did not mind. He did not belong to the Sky Demon sect. It was just a transaction. Not long after, a mournful scream came from ahead. Duguchioma looked over. That is. Chapter 1164. A cultivator's chest was pierced through by a strange creature. The creature was humanoid and had sharp fangs. It looked like a demon from hell. Its entire body was blood red, and its arms were a pair of sharp blades. The cultivator's chest was pierced through by one of the sharp blades. Is that the blood demon? Duguchioma looked at the strange creature. The blood demon was a creature that was nurtured from the Azura blood pool, and was unique to the Azura Blood Road. Save me. The cultivator was still struggling, spitting out blood as he stretched out his hand in Duguchioma's direction. Duguchioma's face was indifferent. Chi. The blood demon's arms shook, and the sharp blades tore the cultivator in half. Immediately after, Tentacles extended from the blood demon's body and sucked the cultivator's corpse dry. This. Duguqioma raised his brows. He finally understood why tens of thousands of cultivators would enter the Azura Blood Road every time it opened. It turned out that they were not the only ones who treated the blood demon as prey. The blood demon also treated them as food. After sucking the cultivator dry, the blood demon's scarlet eyes turned to Duguqioma. After letting out a shrill scream, the blood demon brandished its pair of sharp blades and charged at Duguqioma at an extremely fast speed. Duguqioma reached out with one hand and used the devouring Yuan explosion. A ball of black demonic light erupted, seeming to cause the void to explode. A large blood-red hole immediately appeared on the blood demon's body. However, the blood demon's vitality was extremely tenacious, and it continued to charge at Duguqioma. Duguqioma used the evil Yuan puppet again. A wave of black vibrations, accompanied by spirit power, spread out, and cracks appeared in the surrounding ground. The blood demon's body cracked and was on the verge of shattering, but it still stubbornly stabbed at Duguqioma with its sharp blades. This blood demon isn't weak, Duguqioma murmured. The strength of these ordinary blood demons was close to the divine dwelling stage. Coupled with their agile speed and sharp blades, it would be very troublesome for ordinary divine dwelling stage heaven prides. Moreover, Dugu knew that there were more than just ordinary blood demons in the Azura Blood Road. It was rumored that there were even more powerful elite blood demons, and even more powerful golden blood demons. However, the number of blood devils was also extremely small. In the end, Dugu punched the blood demon's head into pieces. He thrust his hand into the bloodseeker's chest and pulled out his heart. Then he took out a jade bottle and began to collect the Azura blood in his heart. In the end, he managed to fill up a bottle. Only one bottle? Duguqioma frowned, somewhat dissatisfied. He finally understood why the Azura blood was so precious in the Mola dynasty. Killing a blood demon only allowed him to obtain a single bottle of Azura's blood. The harvest was indeed too little. Looks like I need to find even stronger elite blood demons and golden body blood demons, Dugu muttered to himself. Just as he killed a blood demon and obtained a bottle of Azura's blood, the bloodstone that he had obtained had also undergone some changes. The number 10 had appeared on it. Killing an ordinary blood demon is worth 10 points. Looking at the number, Duguqioma muttered to himself. In the outside world, Pei-2 and the others were constantly paying attention to the results on the light screen. Seeing the number behind Duguqioma's score change from 0 to 10, they were slightly relieved. At least they could confirm that Duguqioma was safe. Only 10 points. It seems that the strength of this white-haired sword demon who slaughtered 13 cities does not match his fame. On the Mystic Demon Palace's side, Fan Yuan mocked. He had suffered a loss in the Heavenly Demon Sect and was extremely aggrieved. Now he wanted to vent all his anger. Moreover, this time, the false saint powerhouse of the Mystic Demon Palace had also come. So Fan Yuan had no scruples and was not afraid of Pei-2's Pei-2's face darkened. Just as he was about to refute, he saw Yuan Hua and Soul Demon's scores. One of them had more than 200 points, while the other had more than 150 points. At this moment, they were already at the top. In comparison, Duguqioma's 10 points were a bit unsightly. Even Pei-2 could not say anything to refute. He could only put on a sullen face. Seeing this, the Demon Queen shook her head. She completely removed Duguqioma from the list of prince consort. He was indeed not worthy of Princess Luoho. The major forces in the outside world were paying close attention to the score. And Duguqioma in the Azura Blood Road was looking for blood demons. Duguqioma did not care about those ordinary blood demons. He even felt that it was a waste of time. Therefore, when he occasionally encountered an ordinary blood demon, Duguqioma would just skip it and be too lazy to make a move. As Duguqioma went deeper, he could feel that there seemed to be a thick energy hidden in the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. Duguqioma was very curious about what that energy was. How was the Azura Blood Road formed? Where did the Azura blood come from? All of this was a mystery for the time being. Just as Duguqioma was thinking in his heart, an ear-piercing scream pulled him back to reality. A blood demon swooped down from the sky. That blood demon was larger than an ordinary blood demon and had a hard blood-colored exoskeleton. In addition, the biggest difference between it and an ordinary blood demon was that it had a pair of blood-colored wings on its back, which allowed it to fly. It was really like a Rakshasa. Elite blood demon. Duguchiomo's eyes showed a hint of interest. Finally, a good prey had come. The elite blood demon waved its sharp blade and charged at Duguchiomo. Duguchiomo used the devouring energy explosion again, and a powerful black demonic light exploded. But the effect this time was not as good as when he was dealing with an ordinary blood demon. The elite blood demon's exoskeleton was too hard and was almost close to a quasi-tribulation divine weapon. Duguchiomo used the second round of the battle god demon body and collided with the elite blood demon, immediately raising a cloud of dust. After a round of fighting, Duguchiomo had a rough idea of the elite blood demon's strength. It was comparable to a second or third layer divine dwelling heaven pride. Coupled with a hard exoskeleton and extremely fast wings, it was very difficult for heaven prides of the same level to deal with it. In the end, Duguchiomo brought out the god-devouring sword and cut the elite blood demon in half. In front of the ancient demon sword, the hard exoskeleton was no different from a piece of paper. Duguchiomo also took out its heart and refined more than 10 bottles of Azura blood. Hunting elite blood demons is indeed more cost-effective, Duguchiomo said. His score also directly increased by 100 points. The points of an elite blood demon were comparable to 10 ordinary blood demons. Next, Duguchiomo continued to search for traces of elite blood demons. He also went deep into the Azura blood road. In just a few days, several elite blood demons suddenly appeared in the distance in Duguchiomo's field of vision. Why are there several elite blood demons gathered together? Could it be? Duguchiomo seemed to have thought of something. A small pool appeared in front of him, and the pool was full of sticky blood slurry. That's the Azura blood pool. Chapter 1165. What was the fastest way to obtain a large amount of Azura blood in the Azura blood road? Without a doubt, it was to find the Azura blood pool. But generally speaking, there would be some blood demons gathered around the Azura blood pool. Therefore, it was very difficult for a prodigy to occupy a blood pool alone. The Azura blood pool in front of Duguchiomo was not very big. It could only be considered a small Azura blood pool, and there were only a few elite blood demons around it. But for Duguchiomo, he was extremely lucky to encounter such an opportunity. Many prodigies had entered the Azura blood road several times, but they had never encountered a blood pool. Go! Without the slightest hesitation, Duguchiomo wielded the god-devourer sword and summoned the battle god demon body. He wanted to end the battle in the fastest way possible. The elite blood demons immediately discovered Duguchiomo. Their eyes emitted a cold, bloodthirsty light as they charged toward Duguchiomo. Duguchiomo poured his chi into the god-devourer sword, and a blood-red sword light tore through the air, sweeping toward the elite blood demons. It was the 13 demon swords' blood kill. Pucci. Blood splattered everywhere. Although the elite blood demons' exoskeletons were tough, they were like paper in front of the sword light of the god-devourer sword. Soon, Duguchiomo killed all the elite blood demons. His points were also slowly rising. After extracting the Azura blood from the hearts of the elite blood demons, Duguchiomo walked to the edge of the Azura blood pool. The blood pool was about 3 feet wide. It was not very big, but there was definitely a lot of Azura blood in it. Just as Duguchiomo was about to collect it, a voice suddenly came from not far away. That's the Azura blood pool. Hearing this voice, Duguchiomo frowned slightly. He turned around and looked. A group of people walked over, each with a demonic beast by their side. Only the leader was a gray-robed young man with 2 demonic beasts. These 2 demonic beasts were comparable to the 6th level of the divine dwelling stage. One of them was a human-faced ghost bat, with a white human face pattern on its wings. One of them was a black demon scorpion, its stinger glowing with a faint green light. This gray-robed youth was none other than the genius of the demonic beast sect, Shanyu, who was ranked 9th on the blood ranking. It's you, Duguchiomo. What a small world. Seeing Dugu begging for help at the edge of the Azura blood pool, the corners of Shanyu's mouth curled up into a faint smile. He also noticed the corpses of the elite blood demons scattered on the ground. His expression changed slightly as he asked, "Did you kill these?" Dugu Chiuma's face was cold as he looked at Shan Yu. Seeing that Dugu was not saying anything, Shan Yu came to a realization. He shook his head and smiled. "Ha, I'm overthinking things. With your strength, how could you possibly kill off these elite blood demons alone? You must have picked up their loot." Dugu Chiuma's cultivation had yet to reach the divine dwelling stage, so Shan Yu instinctively looked down on him. Although Dugu Chiuma had killed Yuan Huang, Shan Yu knew that his strength was definitely not weaker than Yuan Huang if he added the 2 demonic beasts. Not to mention the dozen or so demonic beast sect disciples beside him. Such a force was simply using a sledgehammer to crack a nut against Dugu Chiuma. While Shan Yu and the others were facing off against Dugu Chiuma, several unaffiliated cultivators also faintly appeared in the surroundings. They were also staring at the Azura blood pool with blazing eyes. Although it was a small Azura blood pool, it was enough to cause a fight and massacre. But after seeing Shan Yu and the other demonic beast sect disciples, these unaffiliated cultivators shrunk their heads. Although opportunities were important, their lives were more important. They did not have the guts to compete with the disciples of the 6 great forces. However, when they saw Dugu Chiuma, who was all alone, a trace of pity appeared in the eyes of those rogue cultivators. Dugu Chiuma's luck is really bad. Yeah, it wasn't easy for him to encounter such a great opportunity, but he ended up colliding with the demonic beast sect. How many breaths do you think Dugu Chiuma can last? I don't think it will be long before he is torn to pieces by the demonic beast sect's demonic beasts. The surrounding rogue cultivators were all discussing animatedly. Kid, do you regret it now? Shan Yu's eyes were playful. In his eyes, Dugu Chiuma was already a turtle in a jar. You really talk a lot of nonsense. Dugu Chiuma's tone was indifferent. His indifferent attitude even made the surrounding unaffiliated cultivators mistakenly think that Shan Yu's side was the weaker side. You're courting death. Go. Shan Yu's face darkened. He did not attack himself, but let the demonic beast sect disciples beside him do it. This was because he believed that Dugu Chiuma was not worthy of him attacking. The dozen or so demonic beast sect disciples all used beast taming techniques. Suddenly, the dozen or so demonic beasts roared and rushed out. Dugu Chiuma tilted his head slightly, and his dark golden soul-devouring demon eye flashed with a cold luster. In an instant, the sea of consciousness of the dozen or so demonic beast sect disciples trembled as if huge waves were set off. Bang! 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 Heads exploded one after another like watermelons, filling the sky with blood-colored fireworks, bringing with it a kind of cruel beauty. In an instant, the dozen or so demonic beast sect disciples were dead, and their headless corpses collapsed on the ground. The dozen or so demonic beasts had lost their restraints and were fleeing in all directions. They had lost their fighting strength. Shan Yu was stunned. Previously, he had heard that Dugu Chiuma had a strange demon eye that could kill whoever he stared at. However, he did not believe it at all, and thought that the rumors were exaggerated. How could there be such a strange ability in this world? But now, looking at the headless corpses on the ground, Shan Yu's mind went blank. Next, it's your turn. Dugu Chiuma looked at Shan Yu. Shan Yu suddenly felt a wave of shock in his mind. But no matter what, he was still a divine dwelling heaven pride, and could not be compared to those disciples. He only felt a sharp pain in his mind. Human face ghost bat, black demon scorpion kill. Enduring the intense pain, Shan Yu activated his beast taming technique. The human-faced ghost bat and the black demon scorpion turned into 2 rays of black light and charged toward Dugu Chiuma. Dugu Chiuma's face was still indifferent. Holding the god-devouring sword in his hand, sword light spread out, and sword shadows appeared one after another at an extremely fast speed. It was the 13 demon swords, vanishing shadow. Pucci. Unsurprisingly, the god-devouring sword directly cut the black demon scorpion in half. The black demon scorpion's hard shell was as fragile as paper in front of the god-devouring sword. How is this possible? Shan Yu's face was as pale as painted. The black demon scorpion's defensive power was extremely astonishing. Ordinary quasi-tribulation divine weapons could not break its shell. But now, It was cut in half by Duguqiuma's sword. Not only that, Duguqiuma flipped his hand again, and the blood-red sword light tore through the air. The human-faced ghost bat released a black sound wave, but it could not stop it at all. With a whoosh, the blood-red light flashed, and the human-faced ghost bat was also cut in half. Dead silence. The eyes of the unaffiliated cultivators in the distance were filled with shock. As the saying goes, hearing is false, seeing is believing. Only those who had witnessed Duguqiuma's strength with their own eyes knew that the legend of the white-haired sword demon who slaughtered 13 cities was absolutely not an exaggeration. Chapter 1166. Everyone's heart was filled with a chill. This chill originated from the white-haired killing god in front of them. Only when they saw it with their own eyes could they truly understand how terrifying the legendary white-haired sword demon was. You're the only one left. Duguqiuma looked at Shan Yu and revealed a faint smile. However, in Shan Yu's eyes, this smile was like a demonic azura, causing his entire body to turn cold. A chill surged from his spine all the way to his head. You. How is this possible? Shan Yu was unwilling to believe his eyes. Duguqiuma's strength had far exceeded his expectations. Don't meet me in your next life. Duguqiuma did not speak nonsense and swept out his sword. Blood splattered everywhere. Shan Yu's head flew up and blood gushed out from his chest like a fountain. Everyone in the distance felt their scalps go numb, and their eyes were filled with fear. Duguqiuma's eyes swept across and a demonic blood light bloomed from his soul-devouring demon eyes. Bang! 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 In the distance, heads exploded one after another, and the bodies of rogue cultivators collapsed to the ground. In order to be able to collect the Azura blood in the Azura blood pool, Duguqiuma could only kill all the onlookers. To him, this was not a psychological burden at all. After solving some small problems, Duguqiuma took out a jade bottle and collected all the blood in the Azura blood pool into his origin ring. More than 800 jade bottles were filled to the brim. In addition, Duguqiuma also plundered the spoils of war from Shan Yu and the others. In the end, he obtained more than 1,000 bottles of Azura blood. Participating in the Azura blood path is indeed the fastest way to obtain Azura blood. Looking at the origin ring full of Azura blood, Duguqiuma smiled faintly. His bloodstone points also began to skyrocket. It went from a few hundred to 1,000 and reached 1,800. This was also because he had obtained the Azura blood pool. Let's continue forward. Duguqiuma did not stop walking. In the outside world, the various forces' gazes never left the light screen. A false saint from the demonic beast sect smiled. The results of the demonic beast sect's disciples were very stable. It seemed that they had gathered together. Thinking of this, the demonic beast sect's false sacred beast looked at the Sky Devil sect. Their scores were all extremely unsightly. Even the saintess of the Sky Fiend sect, Qingqing, only had 200 to 300 points. As for Duguqiuma, he was only When the demonic beast sect's false sage saw the score behind Duga's name, he suddenly froze. 1,800. The demonic beast sect's false saint was flabbergasted. He thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. He rubbed his eyes and continued looking. It was still 1,800. At this moment, a demonic beast sect's venerable suddenly cried out. How could this be? What's going on? Why are you making such a ruckus? The fake saint of the demonic beast sect said with a sullen face. The supremacy beside him pointed out with a trembling finger. When the fake sage of the demonic beast sect saw this, he nearly fainted. The names of Shan Yu and the other demonic beast sect's disciples turned gray and slowly disappeared. This could only mean one thing. It meant that Shan Yu and the other demonic beast sect's disciples had died. How is this possible? The fake saint of the demonic beast sect roared. The other factions also noticed this and were all astonished. I seem to remember that when Shan Yu and the others' names turned gray, Duguqiuma of the Skyfiend sect's score skyrocketed. Could it be? A supremacy murmured. On the Skyfiend sect's side, Pei Tu, the fake saint, was so excited that his old face trembled slightly. Duguqiuma's score directly entered the top 10. This made everyone in the Skyfiend sect feel like they were dreaming. In the past, no one in the Skyfiend sect could enter the top 10 on the Azura Blood Road. Perhaps this time. Duguqioma will bring a great surprise to our Skyfiend sect. Maybe he can enter the top 5. Peitu was secretly excited. He didn't dare to think that Duguqioma could get first place. It was already very good for him to enter the top 5. No. How is this possible? How could Shanyu and the others die in the hands of Duguqioma? The people of the demonic beast sect couldn't believe it. Looking at the experts of the demonic beast sect whose faces had turned green, Peitu and the others of the Skyfiend sect felt refreshed. Could it be that I have misjudged this lad? Even the Devil Queen revealed a look of surprise in her eyes. Duguqioma didn't seem to be as bad as she had imagined. Even so, Duguqioma's performance was nothing in the eyes of the Demon Queen. For example, Yi Songshan Yuanhua, Princess Luoho, and the others were among the top with more than 2,000 points. Especially Yi Songshan, who had reached 3,000 points. In addition, there were some experts who didn't know who had amazing scores. These 3 people's performances are really surprising. The Demon Queen and the others noticed that there were 3 unfamiliar names in the top 10. One was Mo. One was Yu, and one was Xingyun. These 3 people's performances were not inferior to Yuanhua, Princess Luoho, and the others. They were even catching up with Yi Songshan, who was ranked first. At this moment, in another area of the Azura Blood Road, there was also a small Azura Blood Pool. At the edge of this small Azura Blood Pool, 3 figures were confronting each other. On one side was a warrior who looked like a child with a head full of blood hair. He was Blood Fiend Boy, who was ranked 10th on the blood ranking. He came from the Blood-Clothed Tower, one of the 6 major forces. At this moment, he had a cruel smile on his face. He looked at the 2 figures opposite him and said, "It's your misfortune to compete with me for the Azura Blood Pool." However, the person opposite him, who was covered in a black cloak, chuckled and said, "How dare you be so presumptuous in front of me? You're courting death." Blood Fiend Boy's eyes were filled with killing intent. As the 10th on the blood ranking, he had a fierce reputation in the Maro dynasty. He had never been looked down upon like this. He threw out a palm, and a blood-red palm print expanded in the wind. It was the Blood-Clothed Tower's unique skill, the bone-melting blood palm. If one was hit by the palm, one's body would turn into minced meat. The strong wind lifted the cloak of the person opposite him. Under the cloak was a handsome young man wearing a starry robe and a starry crown. There was a hint of mockery at the corners of his mouth. He raised his hand, and his genuine chi surged. He had reached the 6th level of the Divine Dwelling Realm. How is this possible? The aura of this cultivation made Blood Fiend Boy's expression change dramatically. Great Luo Star Seal. The handsome young man pinched a seal with one hand, and the power of the stars gathered and turned into a giant silver seal. Its surface was overflowing with light, as if there were stars surging, revealing the mysteries of the stars. The seal blasted out, smashing the blood-red palm print as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, and then bombarding Blood Fiend Boy with undiminished momentum. Poochie! Blood Fiend Boy spat out blood wildly, and all the bones in his body were crushed. He was a Heaven's Pride ranked 10th on the blood ranking, but he couldn't withstand a blow from the handsome young man. You're definitely not a Heaven's Pride of the Maro dynasty, you're. Blood Fiend Boy's eyes bulged, and his eyes were bloodshot as he stared at the handsome young man. Then, as if he had thought of something, his eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. No. Impossible. How could you be here? You're one of the top 10 young men. Bang. Before Blood Fiend Boy finished speaking, the handsome young man smashed Blood Fiend Boy's heart meridian with a palm. Yes. I'm young Master Xingyun. Gu Xiaoyang. Chapter 1167. After killing the Blood Fiend Boy, Gu Xiaoyang's face was indifferent. In his view, the Heaven Prides on the blood ranking of the Mo Luo Empire were indeed no different from ants. As the Heaven Prides of an overlord force and one of the top 10 young masters, Gu Xiaoyang had the capital to look down on the Heaven Prides of an empire. He turned to look at the Azura blood pool with a faint smile on his face. I didn't expect there to be such a cultivation treasure in an empire. Moreover, I think the Azura blood should be related to the inheritance of the supreme expert in the deepest part of the Azura blood road. Gu Xiaoyang began to collect the Azura blood. To the side, the other cloaked person also took off her cloak. She was dressed in a moon-white robe, outlining her slender body. Her face was like the moon, cold and beautiful. Her skin was like ice and her bones were like jade. There was a mole at the corner of her left eye, adding a touch of charm to the woman's coldness. It was Yi Songyue. She furrowed her brows. Don't forget the main purpose of our entry here. Gu Xiaoyang smiled as he collected the Azura blood. Of course I know. My main purpose is to find the Demon Emperor phenomenon user, and prevent the witch from contacting him. Then you still have the time to collect opportunities? Yi Songyue's voice was cold. Her main purpose was not to seek opportunities. Gu Xiaoyang still had a faint smile on his face as he said, Fairy Songyu, don't worry. I will do my best to assist you. If I'm not wrong, the witch and the demon emperor will definitely head to the depths of the Azura Blood Road in search of the greatest fortune. We will also search for opportunities along the way, and will eventually meet them. At that time, we can easily suppress them with our combined strength. Gu Xiaoyang's face was full of confidence. As one of the top 10 young masters of the South Horizon region, he naturally had his own confidence. Although he had suffered a great loss in the Infinite Wasteland Plains, Gu Xiaoyang was not someone who would be dispirited after encountering a setback. Otherwise, his cultivation would not have reached the powerful 6th layer of the Divine Dwelling Realm. That would be for the best. Yi Songyue's face relaxed a little. Killings were happening all the time in the Azura Blood Road. Between martial artists, between forces, between martial artists and blood demons, there was a conflict. After several days, Duguqioma finally reached the depths of the Azura Blood Road. Along the way, he saw many withered corpses. It was obvious that they had been killed by the Blood Devil. After entering the depths, Duguqioma encountered almost all elite Blood Devils. At this moment, there was another commotion in front of him. Dugu looked over with a demonic gaze. Surprisingly, he found a blood demon. In terms of appearance, the Blood Devil was similar to the elite Blood Devils. The only difference was that their bodies were golden, as if they were made of gold. Their murderous aura was stronger and sharper. Golden Blood Demon. Duguqiomo's eyes narrowed. Among the Blood Devils, the Golden Blood Devil was undoubtedly the strongest. Generally, the top 10 Sky Prides on the blood ranking could only run away when facing the Golden Body Blood Demon alone. The Golden Blood Devil's strength was comparable to a 5th-layer Divine Dwelling expert. What was even more impressive was that the Golden Blood Demon's speed, strength, and toughness far exceeded the Heaven's favorites of the same level. It could be said that some 6th or 7th-layer Divine Dwelling experts would find it very difficult to face them. Finally, I can meet an opponent who can let me fight to my heart's content. There was no fear in Duguqiomo's eyes. Instead, they were burning with a biting cold fighting spirit. With a stomp of his foot, he executed so close, yet worlds apart, and his figure instantly turned into an afterimage. Sky-devouring secret technique. Duguqiomo executed the sky-devouring secret technique, and his cultivation base suddenly broke through the Divine Dwelling barrier. He broke through 3 realms and reached the 3rd layer of the Divine Dwelling realm. Battle God Demon Body. He once again activated his physical body technique. Dark demonic runes spread out from under his skin, making his whole body exude a mysterious and powerful demonic aura. With the 2 techniques superimposed together, Duguqiomo's battle strength soared like a geyser. Hiss. The Golden Body Blood Demon hissed, and discovered Duguqiomo right away. It flapped its golden wings, turned into a beam of golden light, and collided with Duguqiomo. Boom! Like a collision of meteorites, a vast wave of energy spread out. Duguqiomo summoned the God Devourer sword and swung it out. Sword light split the air. The Golden Body Blood Demon crossed its golden blades to block the attack. There was a clanging sound of metal exploding. 2 deep marks appeared on the Golden Body Blood Demon's blades, but they were not cut off. It's really strong. Duguqiomo was not surprised at all. The Golden Body Blood Demon seemed to be enraged. Its blood-red eyes stared at Duguqiomo, emitting a bloodthirsty cold light. Immediately, the 2 sides engaged in a fierce battle. Duguqiomo executed the 13 demon swords, Blood Kill, and Vanishing Shadow. Sword light swept through the air, and tore through the air. The golden body blood demon's body was strong and powerful. Its sharp blades slashed through the void, producing ear-piercing explosions. Boom, boom, boom. Continuous sounds of collisions could be heard. Duguqiu Emo fought to his heart's content. There were a few wounds on his body. They were pierced by the sharp blades, but there was no blood flowing out. There was only a black aura. The golden body blood demon was puzzled. It did not understand why this human's body was so strange. Interesting. Next, let's try this move. Duguqiu Emo activated his Sea of Consciousness. His genuine energy rose along with his soul power. A pitch-black vortex appeared above his head. It was the secret skill of the Soul Devourer clan, the Great God Devouring skill. A terrifying suction force burst out and pulled half of the golden body blood demon's body into it. Cracking sounds rang out incessantly. Like a meat grinder, fresh blood and shattered carapace splattered everywhere. The power of the Great God Devouring skill was extremely strong. Hiss! The golden body blood demon roared crazily. A sharp blade pierced through Duguqiumo's left chest. In order to maintain the stability of the Great God Devouring skill, Duguqiumo did not retreat. The sharp blade pierced through Duguqiumo's chest and pierced through his heart. The golden body blood demon's eyes revealed a trace of cruelty. But what stunned it was that the human in front of it did not have the slightest change in expression. Sorry, my heart is not on the left. Duguqiumo smiled coldly. Immediately, he activated the devouring power in his body. The terrifying devouring power began to devour the golden body blood demon's life force. The Azura blood in its heart was also absorbed by Duguqiumo. In just a moment, the golden body blood demon was sucked into a shell. Duguqiumo's body fell to the ground and coughed twice. The Azura blood of the golden body blood demon flowed in his body. Vaguely, there was a strange power that gradually spread in his dantian. Could it be that the Azura blood of the golden body blood demon is helpful in transforming a flawless divine dwelling? Feeling this strange power, Duguqiumo was surprised. Just as he was about to carefully appreciate this power, a surprised and enchanting voice suddenly sounded. "Tsk Tisk, I'm really lucky. I didn't expect to meet young Master Dugu here." Hearing this voice, Duguqiumo's eyes lit up. Chapter 1168. Not far away, a figure appeared. It was a woman dressed like a nun. She wore monk robes, and her skin was milky white and her face was bewitching. There was not a single strand of hair on her head, making her look very strange. However, it added a strange charm to her. It was the prided daughter of the Six Desire Demon sect, Miaoyu. "It's you." Duguqiumo's eyes deepened. He had just finished off the golden blood demon, and had suffered some injuries. Although they were not serious, his battle strength had clearly dropped. He did not expect to run into Miaoyu of the Six Desire Demon sect. Duguqiumo was only filled with coldness towards the Six Desire Demon sect. The pink gentleman had also been killed by his original body, Yi Guchen. Miaoyu's long and bewitching eyes looked towards the empty shell of the golden blood demon. A trace of astonishment appeared in her eyes as she asked, "This golden body blood demon was killed by young Master Dugu? Does it have anything to do with you?" Duguqiumo silently recovered from his injuries. Miaoyu's eyes flashed. "Even if young Master Dugu killed it, I believe young Master Dugu must be seriously injured, right?" "Oh, then what do you want?" Duguqiumo narrowed his eyes. His calm demeanor made Miaoyu a little bewildered. Could he not be seriously injured? But how is that possible? Even I would be seriously injured if I faced the golden blood demon. Moreover, his cultivation has yet to reach the divine dwelling stage. Miaoyu pondered. But soon after, a charming smile appeared on her face. "Young Master Dugu, don't worry. Miaoyu has no killing intent towards you." "No killing intent, huh?" Duguqiumo sneered. Miaoyu's killing intent had not been any weaker than Shanyu, Yuanhua and the others outside the Azura Blood Road. "Of course. Young Master Dugu, you must believe me. Miaoyu not only has no intention of dealing with you, but also admires you." Miaoyu's eyes flashed with a bewitching pink light, filled with hunger and charm. She could sense that Duguqiumo was exuberant with blood and essence. "If I can suck Duguqiumo dry, My cultivation will increase by another step. Thinking of this, Miaoyu could no longer hold back. She raised her jade-like hand, and a pink mist enveloped Dugu like a gust of wind. This is... Dugu Chiomo was shrouded in the pink mist, and was slightly surprised. Hehe, young Master Dugu, this is good stuff. It's called Toppling One Inverted Phoenix Powder. Next, let Miaoyu serve young Master, and climb to the peak of bliss together. Miaoyu's tone was flirtatious, incomparably flirtatious. The Toppling One Inverting Phoenix Powder was a poison of the Six Desires demon sect. Those who were poisoned would not only be paralyzed, they would also lose their ability to fight. They would also be charmed and manipulated, willingly becoming Miaoyu's furnace. Through this method, Miaoyu had sucked dry the flesh and blood essence of countless men, turning them into skeletons. You're too dirty. Dugu Chiomo's body was paralyzed on the ground, but his expression was as indifferent as ever. He was willing to fulfill Qing Qing's wish because Qing Qing was clean and untainted. And this Miaoyu, who used the method of absorbing men's essence to cultivate, indeed made Dugu Chiomo extremely disgusted. Hearing Dugu Chiomo's words, the seductive smile on Miaoyu's face faded, and it turned into a touch of coldness. What she hated the most was others saying that her body was dirty. Dugu Chiomo, I originally wanted to keep you alive and play with you slowly in the future. But now I've changed my mind. I want to turn you into a dried corpse. Miaoyu slowly approached Dugu Chiomo. As she walked, she took off her monk robe, revealing her white and plump body. How is it? Is my body beautiful? Miaoyu's eyes shone with pink light, and together with the Toppling One Inverted Phoenix Powder, she tried to confuse Dugu Chiomo and control his mind. Sorry, it's still disgusting. At this time, Dugu Chiomo suddenly exploded, and one of his hands reached out, directly choking Miaoyu's neck. Miaoyu's long and narrow eyes widened, and her seductive face was filled with extreme disbelief. How can this be? Miaoyu couldn't believe it. This scene was beyond her expectations. Not to mention that Dugu Chiomo's strength was damaged, he was also poisoned by the Toppling One Inverted Phoenix Powder. Logically speaking, he should be paralyzed and unable to fight. It was also because of this that Miaoyu let down her guard. It seems that your poison is useless against me. Dugu Chiomo revealed a cold smile. Dugu Chiomo had a pure demon body, and was naturally immune to most poisons. When Dugu Chiomo first came to the Moro dynasty, Madame Black Scorpion's poison also had no effect on him. This was also one of Dugu Chiomo's hidden advantages. No. Young Master Dugu, please spare me. I can do anything, and I don't mind being a slave or a maid. Miaoyu was really panicking, and her seductive face was now ghastly pale. She never thought that the Toppling One Inverted Phoenix Powder would have no effect on Dugu Chiomo. You're an eyesore even if you're a maid. Dugu Chiomo exerted force with his palm, and with a crack, Miaoyu's neck snapped. The proud daughter of the Six Desires demon sect had fallen. Dugu Chiomo immediately searched Miaoyu's origin ring, and obtained more than 400 bottles of Azura blood. Although it wasn't much, it wasn't little either. Dugu Chiomo's points finally broke through the 2,000 mark, reaching 2,400. At the same time, a huge commotion broke out outside the Azura Blood Road. The Demon Queen, the 6 major forces, and the other martial artists who were paying attention all stared at the blood-red light screen. The name of the 6 desired demon sects Miaoyu slowly turned gray. As for Dugu Chiomo's points, it increased explosively again, reaching the 7th place. Seeing this scene, anyone could guess that it was Dugu Chiomo who had killed Miaoyu. That was why his points had increased so much in such a short period of time. How could this be? The faces of the 6 Desires demon sects false saints and venerables turned ashen. Their gazes almost pierced through Pei Tu and the others of the Sky Demon sect. Pei Tu and the others were also stunned. Dugu Chiomo had surprised them again and again. First he killed Shan Yu of the Beast Demon sect, and now he killed Miaoyu of the 6 Desires demon sect. Could it be Yuan Hua and Soul Demon of the Mystic Demon Palace next? Many people looked at the Mystic Demon Palace. Fan Yuan of the Mystic Demon Palace snorted and said, "The 2 supreme talents of the Mystic Demon Palace are ranked 3rd and 4th on the blood ranking. How could Dugu Chiomo be a match for them?" Hearing these words, everyone present slightly nodded their heads. Miaoyu and Shanyu weren't weak, but they weren't the best. They were only ranked 8th and 9th on the blood ranking. Yuanhua and Soul Demon were ranked 3rd and 4th on the blood ranking. Their strength was one level lower. Even Pei Tu didn't like the Mystic Demon Palace, but he didn't refute. This was the truth. Yuanhua and Soul Demon could be said to be the strongest supreme talents of the Mola dynasty besides Yi Songshan and Princess Luoho. Duguqiu Mo wasn't weak, but in the eyes of everyone he couldn't be compared with Yuanhua and the others. Just as the outside world was discussing about Duguqiu Mo. In the Azura Blood Road, Duguqiu Mo had really gone deep into the Azura Blood Road. Here, danger was everywhere. Of course, the opportunities were also more abundant. There seemed to be the sound of fighting, and the sound of surging tides coming from the front. That's... Duguqiu Mo's eyes lit up. Chapter 1169. A vast blood-colored lake appeared in his field of vision. It was an Azura blood pool. However, it was much larger than the small Azura blood pool that Dugu had encountered before. It was a medium-sized Azura blood pool. A small Azura blood pool was extremely rare. A medium-sized Azura blood pool was even rarer. As for a large Azura blood pool, it was said that there was only one in the deepest part of the Azura blood path. However, that place was also extremely dangerous. A small Azura blood pool allowed me to collect more than 800 bottles of Azura blood. This medium-sized Azura blood pool should be able to collect at least 2,000 bottles of Azura blood in one go. A dark light flashed in Duga's eyes. At this moment, the sound of fighting and collisions could be heard incessantly at the edge of the Azura blood pool. Dugu looked over and saw that the leader was Princess Luoho. She led more than 30 prodigies from the Mara royal family to fight the blood demons at the edge of the Azura blood pool. There were a total of 3 golden body blood demons and 10 elite blood demons. Compared to the small Azura blood pool that Dugu had encountered before, the blood demons at the edge of the medium-sized Azura blood pool were much stronger. The golden body blood demons were extremely powerful. Even Dugu found it difficult to deal with them. Although Princess Luoho was not weak, it was difficult for her to fight against 3 golden body blood demons. Although there were more than 30 prodigies supporting her, their strength did not pose much of a threat to the golden body blood demons. They could only hold back the elite blood demons. Princess Luoho held the scythe of the god of death in her hand as she battled a golden blood demon. The other 2 golden blood demons acted as if they were unstoppable as they massacred the geniuses of the Mara royal family. Damn it! Princess Luoho's cold and beautiful face turned ugly when she saw this. She had underestimated the strength of the golden body blood demons. As time passed, the Mara royal family's prodigies were killed by the golden body blood demons one after another. Not long after, only a dozen or so prodigies were left. In the dark, Duguqiu had some thoughts when he saw this. If I were alone, it would be difficult for me to deal with 3 golden body blood fiends at the same time. Furthermore, Princess Luoho possesses the Luoho Life Providence. She might be of help to me in activating the Heaven Ferocious Life Providence. Duguqiu was not a kind-hearted person. He was not fated to see injustice on the road. However, at that moment, he was also pondering whether or not he should make a move. Firstly, Duguqiu alone would not be able to deal with the 3 golden body blood demons. Only by working together with Princess Luoho would they be able to succeed. Secondly, Princess Luoho's Luoho Life Providence might be helpful to him. Therefore, Dugu could not watch helplessly as Princess Luoho perished. She still had something he could use. Thinking of this, Duguqiu no longer hesitated and revealed himself. Princess Luoxia noticed it immediately. She was just about to open her mouth and ask this person who had suddenly appeared to help deal with the golden body blood demon. However, from the corner of his eye, he discovered that it was Duguqiu. Why are you here? Princess Luoho's expression turned even uglier. Of all the people who came, it had to be Duguqiu, who she was a little disgusted with and who had once taken liberties with her. It seems that your highness does not welcome me? Duguqiu said indifferently. Duguqiu, if you dare to take advantage of me behind my back, I will not let you off. Princess Luoho's voice was cold and filled with killing intent. She was famous for her killing, and her personality was also cold and bloodthirsty. To a certain extent, she was somewhat similar to Duguqioma. Hey, Princess Luoho. Do you still have the strength to threaten me? Duguqioma smiled nonchalantly. Princess Luoho's face darkened. The current situation was indeed not good for her. Duguqioma said, Princess Luoho, I have a suggestion. In the current situation, you can't deal with the 3 golden body blood demons. I can help. You? Princess Luoho was indifferent. Someone who had not even reached the divine dwelling stage. What qualifications did he have to deal with the golden body blood demons? Duguqioma was not angry and said indifferently, My strength may not enter your eyes, but I have killed a golden body blood demon. What? You killed a golden body blood demon? Princess Luoho's eyes flashed with surprise. The golden body blood demon was very powerful and comparable to the 5th layer of the divine dwelling stage. Duguqioma had not even reached the divine dwelling stage, so how could he have killed a golden body blood demon? But Duguqioma's expression was very calm and did not seem to be lying. Princess Luoho hesitated for a moment and said, Your request. She did not care whether Duguqioma was telling the truth or not, but as long as he joined in, even if it meant sharing some of the pressure. I want half of this medium-sized Azura blood pool, Duguqioma said indifferently. What? That's impossible. Princess Luoho was furious. The medium-sized Azura blood pool was at least equivalent to 2,000 bottles of Azura blood, or even more. Duguqioma wanted half of it. He was definitely asking for too much. Princess Luoho would never agree. Is that so? What a pity. Duguqioma shook his head and stood indifferently. Princess Luoho ground her silver teeth hatefully. Given her cold and bloodthirsty personality, if not for the golden body blood demon holding her back, she would have slashed Duguqioma with her scythe. Right at this moment, another figure appeared in the distance. He sensed the fluctuations of the battle and flew over. The newcomer was a figure wearing a black robe and a black hood. He held a white bone staff in his hand. It was the godson of the Heaven Divination sect. The Heaven Divination sect's godson had also appeared in the Sacred Dynasty's inheritance. Your Highness, the Heaven Divination sect's godson said in surprise when he saw Princess Luoho in danger. He had always admired Princess Luoho in his heart, but because of Princess Luoho's cold personality and reputation, he had never shown it. Heaven Divination sect's godson, come help this princess. Princess Luoho breathed a sigh of relief when she saw the Heaven Divination sect's godson. Although the Heaven Divination sect's godson was not extremely strong, he was not much weaker than her. If the Heaven Divination sect's godson was willing to help, the situation would be much better. Princess Luoho, there is no need to worry. I will take action now. The Heaven Divination sect's godson said. The Heaven Divination sect's godson naturally would not miss this opportunity to get closer to Princess Luoho. However, just as the Heaven Divination sect's godson was about to take action, a figure suddenly flashed and blocked in front of him. I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. Duguqioma crossed his arms in front of his chest, his white hair fluttering in the wind. His tone was cold and chilling. If the Heaven Divination sect's godson took action, how could he obtain the resources of the Azura blood pool? Duguqiomayu. Princess Luoho clenched her teeth, her plump breasts heaving up and down. She was so angry that she almost vomited blood. It was one thing for Duguqioma to watch from the sidelines, but he even stopped the Heaven Divination sect's godson from taking action. This drove Princess Luoho mad, and she wanted nothing more than to hack Duguqioma to death with her scythe. Duguqioma, you dare to block my path? The Heaven Divination sect's godson sneered. Only those in the outside world knew that Duguqioma had killed Shan Yu and Miao Yu. Those in the Azura blood path naturally had no idea. Thus, the Heaven Divination sect's godson had no idea how strong Duguqioma was. Chapter 1170. The Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple was ranked 6th on the blood ranking, and was far stronger than Yuan Huang and the others that Dugu had killed. Therefore, the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple didn't take Duguqioma seriously at all. Princess Luoho is in trouble, But not only did you not help, you even stopped me from helping. You're really crazy. The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple's eyes glinted darkly. Now was the time for him to perform. If he performed well, Princess Luoho might see him in a different light. Heh. Why didn't I know that the Molo dynasty has such a virtue as helping each other? The corner of Duguchioma's mouth revealed a cold and mocking smile. In a place like the Molo dynasty, there was no such thing as helping others. The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple was only willing to help because he admired Princess Luoho. You're courting death. Hearing the mockery in Duguchioma's words, the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple's face turned extremely cold. His cultivation aura erupted, revealing that he had reached the third layer of the divine dwelling. Although he wasn't as strong as Princess Luoho, Yuanhua, and the other fourth layer divine dwelling heaven prides, he wasn't weak either. Desolation Staff Art. The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple waved the white bone staff in his hand. Suddenly, a chilly wind blew and black mist filled the sky. Countless staff shadows appeared and wailed like ghosts and wolves. Not only was this staff art powerful, but it also contained a soul attack. If one's mind wasn't strong enough, they would be affected, their movements would become sluggish, and their battle power would be reduced. But Duguchioma was different. The Soul Devourer clan's talent made his sea of consciousness extraordinary. Let alone the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple, the soul demon of the Mystic Demon Palace, might not be a match for Duguchioma. To deal with the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple, Duguchioma didn't even need to use the Sky Devourer secret art. He only needed to use the Battle God Demon body. Demonic runes emerged from his skin, making Duguchioma look even more mysterious and demonic. He reached out with one hand and clenched the air. Yuan Devourer Explosion. A powerful black light exploded like a black star, and the powerful shockwaves collided with the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciples. Rumble. The sounds of explosions and collisions were incessant. The moment the dust rose, Duguchioemo executed so close, yet worlds apart, and appeared in front of the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple in an instant. Then, without any fancy moves, Duga's seeking demons punched out, and at the same time he used the evil origin puppet. Black shockwaves erupted along with this powerful punch. Although it was not as powerful as Yi Gu Chen's two-star ancient god form, the pure demon body and the battle god demon body complemented each other, so the power was not weak either. The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple was shocked, not expecting Dugu to erupt with such power. He placed the white bone formation horizontally in front of his chest, erupting with the true chi of the third layer of the divine dwelling stage to defend himself. But when the punch landed, there was a loud bang. The Heaven Divination Sect's disciple felt as if he had been rammed by a primordial demonic dragon. A force as heavy as Mount Tai crushed down on him, causing the bones in his arms to creak, as if they were about to shatter. He retreated more than 10 steps, looking at Duguchioemo in horror. Your physical strength. The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple was astonished. Not far away, Princess Luoho, who was struggling to hold on, was also stunned. She originally thought that the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple, who was 6th on the blood ranking and 3rd layer of the divine dwelling stage, could quickly deal with Duguchioemo and then come to her aid. But she did not expect that the situation would turn out like this. His strength. Princess Luoho's cold eyes flashed with surprise under the mask. Duguchioemo was somewhat beyond her expectations. Damn it! The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple's face was extremely gloomy. He originally wanted to show off in front of Princess Luoho, but he had suffered such a loss. He had to get back at him. The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's true chi poured into the white bone staff, and a black mist rose from the white staff, turning into a pitch-black demonic seal that seemed to be able to suppress a part of the sky. Dark Death Seal. This was one of the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's ultimate techniques. Seeing this, Duguchiomo's devouring power erupted, and a powerful black light spread out from his body and condensed into a sinister black dragon head. It was the first level of the Heaven Devouring secret art, the Black Dragon Devour. The black dragon's head opened its terrifying maw and swallowed the Dark Death Seal into its mouth in an extremely shocking manner. How is this possible? The Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple was dumbstruck, almost doubting his own life. Duguchiomo's endless methods left him incomparably astonished. But what made the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciples' hair stand on end was that the black dragon had opened its mouth again, and the dark death seal rushed back at him. Damn it! Caught off guard, the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple hurriedly summoned a bone armor to defend himself, but it was still impacted, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. The bone armor was covered in cracks and shattered. It's over. Duguchiomo didn't want to delay, for he could see from the corner of his eye that Princess Luoho wouldn't be able to last much longer. If he wanted to kill the 3 golden blood devils and obtain the Azura blood pool, he would need to work with Princess Luoho, so she couldn't die. Without any hesitation, Duguchiomo raised his hand, and in a flash of black light, the God Devourer sword wrapped in black crystals appeared. Demon 13 Swords, Vanishing Shadow. Duguchiomo's figure blurred as his sword tore through the air and slashed at the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple. The Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple instantly sensed a fatal danger. Face pale, he slapped his chest and spat out a mouthful of essence blood that splashed into the void. Heaven Witchcraft Divine Art, Substitution Puppet. With these words, Duguchiomo's God Devourer sword slashed across the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple's neck. But contrary to Duguchiomo's expectations, no blood spurted out from this slash. A few seconds later, the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple was turned into a headless scarecrow. Not far away, the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple's figure appeared in the void. He didn't hesitate at all. With a panicked expression, he directly flashed away, not daring to stay for even a second. Damn it, damn it, damn it! The Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple spat out blood as he fled, his intestines turning green with regret. The Heaven Witchcraft Divine Art was the Heaven Witchcraft sect's core cultivation method. The substitution puppet was one of its moves, allowing one to use a puppet as a substitute for death. However, it only had one chance and would cause one's vitality to be greatly damaged after using it. This was originally the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple's trump card, giving him a chance to avoid death. But now, it had been wasted on Duguchiomo's sword. Not only that, he had to flee so pathetically in front of Princess Luoho. It could be said that he had suffered a double loss. Damn it, Duguchiomo, if I have the chance in the future, I won't let you go. The Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple fled with grievances and resentment. Watching the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple disappear into the distance, Duguchiomo shook his head and said, "This Heaven Witchcraft sect's technique is indeed a little interesting." After some thought, Duguchiomo decided not to pursue. The Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple was just a fly. If he encountered him in the future, he could just slap him to death. The most important thing now was the Azura blood pool. With this thought, Duguchiomo turned around and looked at Princess Luoho with an indifferent expression. Princess Luoho was immediately embarrassed. Chapter 1171. She hadn't expected Duguchiomo to be so powerful. After all, one's cultivation level could sometimes confuse one's judgment. Luoho was caught between a rock and a hard place. If she allowed Duguchiomo to help, she'd be slapping herself in the face. After all, Princess Luoho had looked down on Duguchiomo before. She had also refused his help and refused his request for half of the Azura blood pool. However, if she didn't allow Duguchiomo to help, the result would be obvious. Even if Luoho could use her trump card to escape the Golden Blood Demon's attacks, she'd have to give up on the medium-sized pool. Ah! Screams rang out as the remaining dozen or so geniuses of the Mara Imperial family were killed by the other 2 Golden Blood Demons. The 2 Golden Body Blood Devils turned their attention to Princess Luoho. Luoho's expression was grave. She'd always been decisive, but now she was caught between a rock and a hard place. However, Duguchiomo stood calmly on the outside with his hands behind his back. If Luoho didn't agree, he wouldn't help. Luoho gnashed her teeth in anger when she saw Duguchiomo's expression. As the princess of a nation and a fearsome figure, no one had ever dared disobey her. Duguchiomo was the only one who wasn't afraid of her, and even dared to threaten and tease her. Hiss! The 3 Golden Body Blood Demons formed a triangular formation and surrounded Princess Luoho. Luoho's expression changed. It would be difficult for her to escape in this situation. The 3 golden body blood demons turned into 3 streaks of golden light. The sharp blades in their hands pierced towards Princess Luoho. Damn it, this princess agrees. Luoho's face flushed red. She couldn't help but shout. At the same time, the 3 golden body blood demons had already reached Princess Luoho. Damn it. Luoho gripped the scythe of the death god, thinking that she'd be seriously injured this time. However, in the next moment, a blur flashed past and brought Princess Luoho away from the 3 golden body blood demons. All of a sudden, Princess Luoho felt herself being hugged by someone. Turning her head, she saw Duguchioma's cold and charming side profile. Princess Luoho, why didn't you say so earlier? Duguchioma's lips curled into a smile. Princess Luoho felt very uncomfortable. She was not wearing any clothes. Only a few pieces of black armor covered her important parts. Large patches of snow-white skin were exposed. At this moment, Duguchioma was hugging her waist. Her exposed skin was practically sticking to Duguchioma's body. Her originally towering bosom was pressed tightly against Duguchioma's chest, becoming flat and round. Let go. Princess Luoho struggled out of Duga's grip, her expression extremely unnatural. That beautiful jade face, which had always held a touch of coldness, actually quietly surged with an imperceptible blush. Her clothes seemed to be revealing, but they were not slutty. She had never been close to anyone of the opposite sex since she was young, because she felt that no man in the Mola dynasty was worthy of her. But at this moment, a strange feeling emerged in Princess Luoho's heart. Duguchioma said indifferently, "You rest for a while. I will hold them back." Princess Luoho suppressed the strange feeling in her heart and sneered. "Aren't you afraid that I will leave and let you face these blood demons alone?" "Ha!" Duguchioma shook his head. "First, I am confident that I can escape from the 3 golden blood demons. Second, I believe that your highness is not willing to give up the Azura blood pool for nothing." Duguchioma's words left Princess Luoho speechless. "All right, wait for me to recover." Princess Luoho's face was cold as she swallowed a healing pill. Although she was very unwilling to cooperate with Duguchioma, it seemed to be the only way at this moment. Seeing this, Duguchioma turned around to face the 3 golden body blood devils. "It's a little troublesome, but it's okay." Duguchioma immediately used the Sky Devourer secret technique, and his cultivation soared to the 3rd layer of the divine dwelling stage. Adding on the power of the battle god demon body, his strength skyrocketed. 13 demon swords blood kill. Duguchioma charged toward the 3 golden blood demons with the god devourer sword in his hand. A secret technique to increase one's cultivation level. Is this your trump card? Princess Luoho regulated her breathing while paying attention to Duguchioma. She had indeed underestimated Duguchioma before. The more she watched, the more she felt that Duguchioma was a little mysterious, as if he was hiding some secret. Duguchioma fought the 3 golden blood demons. The more Princess Luoho observed, the more shocked she became, because she realized that Duguchioma did not bleed at all after being pierced by the golden blood demon's sharp blade. Duguchioma did not even frown when he was injured, as if he could not feel the pain. Is it because of some kind of body tempering technique? Princess Luoho could only think of this. After 15 minutes, Duguchioma said, "Princess Luoho, if you don't act now, we won't be able to obtain the Azura blood pool." Princess Luoho coldly glared at Duguchioma. She really wanted to leave and let Duguchioma be killed by the golden blood demons. But for the sake of the Azura blood pool, she could only give up on this idea. And for some reason, Princess Luoho had a feeling that Duguchioma had not fully revealed his strength. With Princess Luoho's help, the pressure on Duguchioma was greatly reduced. Although the 3 golden blood demons were difficult to deal with, Princess Luoho and Duguchioma were not to be trifled with. It took some time, but in the end the 2 of them joined forces and killed the 3 golden blood demons, as well as the other elite blood demons. Princess Luoho panted, her breasts heaving up and down, looking very alluring. With her strength, she had paid a great price to kill the 3 golden blood demons. She had used up a lot of energy. Duguchioma had a calm expression from beginning to end. Even though there were many wounds on his body, he did not make a sound. What a monster! Princess Luo Ho muttered under her breath. It was normal to be ruthless to others, but it was even more terrifying to be ruthless to oneself. Now we can start distributing, Duguqioma said. Princess Luo Ho wanted to go back on her words and slash Duguqioma with her scythe. But looking at Duguqioma's dark golden demonic eyes, she instinctively felt a sense of fear. Duguqioma sneered and did not say anything. He went to the Azura blood pool and began to collect the Azura blood. In the end, he collected more than 1,500 bottles of Azura blood. In addition to the blood essence in the golden blood demon's heart, and the blood he had collected before, Duguqioma now had more than 3,000 bottles of Azura blood on him. This was already a huge number. His points on the bloodstone had also skyrocketed to 4,300 points. Princess Luo Ho's expression was ugly, but she still collected her share of the loot. Her points also skyrocketed. Goodbye, Princess Luo Ho. Duguqioma left without hesitation. Humph, Duguqioma, this princess will remember this. Princess Luo Ho gritted her teeth and stomped her foot. For the first time, her indifferent state of mind was disturbed. Duguqioma was the first person in the Molo dynasty who dared to take advantage of her like this. Chapter 1172. Duguqioma and Princess Luo Ho's skyrocketing points naturally shocked the outside world. Pei Tu and the others from Heavenly Demon Sect were so happy that they didn't know what to say. Originally, they thought that it was already very good that Duguqioma could enter the top 10. But now Duguqioma was ranked 4th. Heavenly Demon Sect's geniuses had never achieved such good results in the Azura Blood Road. 1,000 bottles of Azura blood is too worth it, Pei Tu said with a smile. When he promised Duguqioma 1,000 bottles of Azura blood, there were some criticisms in Heavenly Demon Sect, thinking that he was being too nice to Duguqioma. But now no one would criticize him anymore. What's there to be proud of? That Duguqioma hasn't met the 2 geniuses of my mystic demon palace. If he does, any one of them can kill Duguqioma, Fan Yuan said with a cold face. Hearing Fan Yuan's words, the smiles on Pei Tu and the others' faces faded. If it were other geniuses, Pei Tu would definitely be disdainful because Duguqioma's combat strength was extraordinary. But if he encountered Yuan Hua and Master Soul Demon, Pei Tu wasn't confident. He didn't know if Duguqioma had the ability to fight them. At this moment, a Heavenly Demon Sect's supremacy suddenly exclaimed, Elder Pei Tu, look at that light screen. Pei Tu looked over and saw Heavenly Demon Sect's Saintess Qing Qing's name flickering and slowly dimming. Not good. Pei Tu's face sank. This meant that Qing Qing had been severely injured and encountered great danger. There was a possibility that she would die. If she died, her name would turn gray and disappear. At the same time, Duguqioma had already reached the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. Duguqioma's sharp divine soul perception could also sense that there seemed to be an extremely exuberant blood chi fluctuation in the deepest part. Could there be a large Azura blood pool in the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road? Duguqioma guessed. However, very few people had ever walked to the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road, because it was too dangerous. Suddenly, there were sounds of fighting in front of them. Dugu looked into the distance with a demonic gaze. A few disciples dressed in the Heavenly Demon Sect's attire were drenched in blood. They were injured in many places and were staggering as they fled. Behind them, a dozen or so geniuses from Mystic Demon Palace chased after them with mocking expressions. It was like a cat playing with a mouse. Run. Run again if you have the guts. A genius from the Mystic Demon Palace sneered. Damn it, my Heavenly Devil Sect's holy son Dugu won't let you off, roared a Heavenly Devil Sect disciple. Oh, what bullshit, Chosen. He's a cripple who hasn't even reached the divine dwelling stage. Our Lord Hun Demon has already captured the saintess of the Heavenly Demon Sect, Qing Qing, and released the news that Duguqioma is looking for her. But where is your chosen Duga now? That genius from the Mystic Demon Palace sneered. Perhaps Lord Holy Sun didn't receive the news, a Skyfiend Sect disciple said unwillingly. It was just that he wasn't too sure and didn't have much confidence. Haha, ridiculous. Doesn't your saintess know how to send a message? I think Duguqioma is afraid of Lord Hun Demon, so he avoided the battle and didn't even save your saintess," the genius from the mystic demon palace mocked. His words made the several heavenly devil sect disciples speechless. They also didn't have any confidence. "All right, I've had enough fun. I'll send you on your way." The genius from the mystic demon palace sneered and lifted his hand to attack the heavenly devil sect disciples. Just then, a black-clothed, white-haired figure inserted himself between the two like a ghost. You are." The expressions of the dozen or so geniuses changed slightly. "It's Chosen Dugu. Greetings, Lord Chosen." The several heavenly devil sect disciples were taken aback at first, but then their faces lit up with ecstasy. Their heavenly devil sect's strongest heaven pride, Chosen Dugu, had finally appeared. Duguqioma. The dozen or so geniuses from the mystic demon palace couldn't help but take a few steps back with extreme fear on their faces. They were still disdainful of Duguqioma earlier, but now, their faces were pale and their backs were drenched in cold sweat. "Why aren't you continuing?" Duguqioma crossed his arms in front of his chest and tilted his head slightly as he looked at them indifferently. Let's go." The leading genius from the mystic demon palace snorted and turned to leave. "Did I allow you to leave?" Duguqioma's face suddenly darkened. In an instant, an extremely terrifying killing intent and baleful aura swept out, causing the universe to change color. The dozen or so mystic demon palace disciples immediately trembled like a sieve. "Qingqing, where is she?" Duguqioma asked with an indifferent expression. She is in the southeast direction 300 miles away. She is trapped by Lord Hun Demon. Lord Hun Demon wants to lure you to save her." The genius from the mystic demon palace said with trepidation. The aura that Duguqioma released made him feel as though his liver and guts were about to shatter. "Heh." Duguqioma narrowed his eyes as a cold light flashed across his eyes. Qingqing didn't send him a message, so Duguqioma only knew about it now. It must be because Qingqing was stubborn and would rather die than send him a message. What a fool. Although I have no feelings for you, it doesn't mean that I can sit by and do nothing, Duguqioma muttered with a complicated feeling in his heart. The dozen or so geniuses from the mystic demon palace saw that Duguqioma was thinking about something. Their eyes flickered as they turned around and desperately fled. Devouring energy explosion. Duguqioma reached out with one hand, and a black demonic light exploded. The group of geniuses didn't even have time to scream before they were swallowed and blasted into pieces. "Leave. Don't go any further." Duguqioma glanced at the heavenly demon sect's disciples indifferently as he flashed towards the southeast direction. "Thank you, Saint." The heavenly demon sect's disciples bowed and cupped their fists towards Duguqioma's back. TSK, how strong is Saint Dugu? He killed more than a dozen geniuses so casually. I don't know, but I do hope that Saint Dugu can kill Master Hun Demon and Yuan Hua. The heavenly demon sect's disciples chatted for a while before they left in a flash. On the other side, 300 miles away, a woman in green was tied to a pillar. The woman's green clothes were torn in many places, revealing bloodstains that set off her snow-white skin. It was exceptionally glaring. A line of blood flowed down from the corner of her mouth, making her look rather miserable. The woman who was tied to the pillar was Qingqing. Not far away, a man in a blood-red robe stood with his hands behind his back. His long hair was loose and covered one of his eyes. His aura was strange and cold, making people feel uncomfortable. This person was Master Hun Demon, the genius of the Mystic Demon Palace who was ranked 4th on the blood ranking. There were dozens of Mystic Demon Palace's disciples standing around him. In addition, there were thousands of forces and independent cultivators watching from the surroundings. After all, the person who was tied to the pillar was the saintess of the heavenly demon sect. Chapter 1173. That Duguqioma hasn't arrived yet? Master Hun Mo frowned slightly. Qingqing, who was tied to the pillar, had her beautiful face drained of blood and was pale. She smiled weakly and said, Master Hun Mo, give up. He won't come. Oh, it seems that this new saint of heavenly demon sect doesn't have tender feelings for the fairer sex. He doesn't even care about you, a saintess of the same sect. If that's the case, Master Hun Mo sneered. He immediately took out a whip and lashed Qing Qing a dozen times. Qing Qing's delicate body was covered with bloodstains. Her face was even paler and she coughed up blood. But there was a smile on her delicate face. It was just that the smile was a little bitter and desolate. You're right. Qing Qing's life is nothing in his eyes. He's never taken Qing Qing seriously either. She remembered what Dugu Qioma said that day. She didn't have any extra feelings for him. Qing Qing felt a heart-wrenching pain. Perhaps, in the eyes of the Demon King, only a woman like Princess Luo Ho was barely worthy of him. A sense of inferiority spread in Qing Qing's heart. It even made her feel like she had nothing to lose. It was also because of this that Qing Qing would rather die than send a message to Dugu Qioma. Firstly, she didn't want Dugu Qioma to take risks for her. Secondly, Qing Qing also wanted to know if Dugu Qioma would be sad if she died. Hearing Qing Qing's words, the martial artists in the distance couldn't help but shake their heads. That Dugu Qioma massacred 13 cities. I thought he was a peerless, ruthless person. In the end, he turned out to be such a coward. He didn't even dare to save the saintess of his sect. Yes, if it were me, I would definitely come to rescue a saintess like Qing Qing, no matter what the final result is. It seems that Dugu Qioma is still afraid of Mystic Demon Palace. Even Master Hun Mo is afraid of him, let alone Yuan Hua. The cultivators in the distance all revealed looks of disdain and ridicule. Although the martial practitioners of the Mara dynasty were mostly cold and indifferent, they still felt indignant when they saw a woman like Qing Qing being trapped. They despised Dugu for begging the devil. It seems that I have overestimated that Dugu Qioma. To think that I even sent a message to Yuan Hua, asking him to come here. Looks like it's all for naught now. Master Hun Demon shook his head and laughed. That's right. Why call it Dugu Qioma? I think it's more appropriate to call it Dugu Tortoise. That's right, the holy son of the heavenly demon sect is just a coward. Dozens of mystic demon palaces, disciples mocked loudly. It was conceivable that if Dugu Qioma did not come, then the legend of the white-haired sword demon who slaughtered 13 cities would completely collapse. I won't allow you to insult him. Qing Qing, who was tied to the pillar, raised the last of her strength and shouted mournfully. Oh, judging by your attitude, could it be that you are Dugu Qiumo's woman? Master Hun Demon noticed that Qing Qing's attitude towards Dugu Qiumo was different and raised his eyebrows slightly. Qing Qing bit her lips and did not speak. Master Hun Demon suddenly thought of a vicious scheme. The corners of his mouth lifted into a cruel smile as he spoke. Interesting. In that case, I'll strip you naked and let my mystic demon palace's disciples do it one by one. Let's see if that Dugu Qiumo can resist, haha. As soon as these words came out, Qing Qing's already pale face became even paler. Although she grew up in a chaotic place like the Mara dynasty, Qing Qing had maintained her purity since she was a child. Dugu Qiumo was the first man she had been intimate with. If Master Hun Demon really did such a thing, Qing Qing would rather commit suicide. She also knew that with the character of Master Hun Demon and the others, they would really do such a thing in public. Let me go first. Master Hun Demon slowly approached Qing Qing. Qing Qing shook her head with all her might. Her delicate face was as pale as paper. When the martial artists in the distance saw this, some of them could not bear it, and some sighed in their hearts. Some were very interested and could not wait to see the next scene. Qing Qing closed her beautiful eyes in despair. Just as she was about to bite her tongue and commit suicide, an aura suddenly enveloped heaven and earth. That aura was extremely murderous, cold, tyrannical, and cruel. It was as if a demon god had descended to the world and wanted to wash heaven and earth with blood and destroy the universe. Master Hun Demon. The 3 words were uttered one by one as if a demon god from the underworld was whispering. Just as everyone's hearts were trembling because of this extreme murderous aura, a black crystal sword tore through the air, tearing heaven and earth apart and shaking the universe. Ooh! Master Hun Demon's face changed abruptly, and he hurriedly retreated. The black crystal sword directly pierced through the chest of a mystic demon palace's genius, and continued to tear through the air without any reduction in momentum. Puff! 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 Blood blossomed, and in the blink of an eye, The chests of more than 10 mystic demon palaces geniuses were penetrated. Blood splattered everywhere as bones and flesh flew everywhere. In the end, the sword went straight for Qing Qing. When Qing Qing saw the sword, her face that was originally filled with despair froze. Her beautiful eyes widened with disbelief, and even sparkles appeared in her eyes. The black crystal sword brushed past Qing Qing's body and shattered the pillar before stabbing into the ground. Dead silence. There was a deathly silence all around. Before the person appeared, a sword had directly killed more than 10 mystic demon palaces geniuses. It was insolent. In the distance, a figure walked over. His footsteps were very steady, but every step he took seemed to stomp heavily on the hearts of everyone present. It made one's heart tremble like a drum. Following his arrival, the entire world froze with endless murderous intent. 3,000 feet long white hair fluttered in the void. A dark gold demon eye mixed with blood red, like the eye of a demon god from the underworld, stared coldly at Master Hun Demon and the others. Duguqioma had arrived. Whoosh! After a brief moment of shock, the surrounding martial artists burst into an uproar. They did not expect that the heavenly demon sex saint, Duguqioma, would actually appear. Duguqioma. Master Hun Demon's originally frivolous expression froze slightly, because this aura that made one shudder made him have no choice but to be on guard. Duguqioma ignored everyone, and his gaze fell on Qing Qing. Qing Qing's green clothes were torn in many places, and there were glaring whip marks all over her body. Clearly, she had been abused. Her beautiful face was also pale and had lost its color. But at this moment, tears appeared in Qing Qing's eyes. The corners of her lips curled into a heart-moving smile. Although she did not want Duguqioma to come. But when he really came, Qing Qing could not help but feel happy. At least she had left a shadow in Duguqioma's heart. Seeing Qing Qing's blood-stained face, Duguqioma's heart surged with coldness. Although Duguqioma did not have any feelings for Qing Qing, but it did not mean that he could allow others to humiliate Qing Qing. Duguqioma's gaze swept across Master Hun Demon and the others from Mystic Demon Palace, as if he was looking at dead people. His bone-chilling words resounded through the boundless blood road. Come up and receive your death. Chapter 1174. For simple words reverberated between the heavens and earth. The faces of the martial artists in the distance froze. Judging from Duga's words, he wanted to kill dozens of Dark Demon Palace's prodigies, including Master Hun Demon. Master Hun Demon was so angry that he laughed, his eyes cold. This was the first time someone dared to speak to him in such a tone. Although Duguqioma's aura surprised him, this aura alone was not enough to make him afraid. After all, Master Hun Emo was ranked 4th on the blood ranking. He had killed countless people. Duguqioma, you are really as arrogant as the rumors say. However, do you think you are qualified to say such words to me? Master Hun Demon sneered. His strength was extraordinary and he was good at the Tao of Soul. It could be said that even the prodigies of the same realm were afraid of Master Hun Demon, because Master Hun Demon did have many strange means in the sea of consciousness. Master Dugu, leave quickly. He has called Yuan Hua over. Qing Qing shouted and reminded. Master Hun Demon alone was enough to bring great pressure to others. If they delayed until Yuan Hua arrived, the 2 top prodigies of Dark Demon Palace would join forces. No matter how strong Duguqioma was, it would be very dangerous. The martial artists in the distance suddenly understood why Master Hun Demon was so fearless. In addition to his strength, Yuan Hua was about to arrive. If Yuan Hua arrived, not to mention Duguqioma, even Princess Luo, Ho would find it difficult to deal with the 2 of them at the same time. However, this was only the thought of the outsiders. Duguqiomo's expression did not change because of Yuan Hua. His face was still cold and indifferent, as if he did not care about Yuan Hua at all. Oh, Duguqiomo, I am very curious. What is it that supports your confidence and gives you the courage to face me and Yuan Hua? Master Hun Demon looked quite calm. Are you trying to stall for time? In fact, I don't care whether Yuan Hua comes or not. However, one thing is certain. Duguqioma paused. What? Master Hun Demon frowned slightly. You will definitely die. After Dugachio finished his sentence, he executed imminent skyline and rushed towards Master Hun Demon and the others. You're courting death. Seeing that Dugachio had actually taken the initiative to attack, Master Hunmo's face sank. With a flick of his sleeve, a group of geniuses from the Mystic Demon Palace charged forward. Dugachio activated the power of the soul-devouring demon eye. In an instant, the soul-devouring demon eye blossomed with a faint blood-red light. The geniuses of the Mystic Demon Palace who had rushed up immediately felt their sea of consciousness turn upside down. It was as if some mysterious power was causing the soul power in their sea of consciousness to explode. Ah! The geniuses of the Mystic Demon Palace clutched their heads in agony. Some of the weaker geniuses had their heads blown up, and red and white matter splattered everywhere. Dugachio punched out and directly punched through the chest of a genius from the Mystic Demon Palace. He grabbed the heart out and then ruthlessly crushed it. Then, with a flip of his hand, he smashed the head of another genius from the Mystic Demon Palace into pieces. Then, with a kick that carried the power of the battle god demon body, he ruthlessly swung out and smashed another person from the Mystic Demon Palace into pieces, as if he had been trampled by a giant beast. In just a few breaths of time, dozens of geniuses from the Mystic Demon Palace were all annihilated. The smell of blood drifted between heaven and earth. The ground was covered with all kinds of broken limbs, flesh, and bones. It looked extremely horrifying. Everyone's breathing seemed to have stopped. The scene was dead silent and somewhat dull. Gulp! It was unknown which martial artist was the one who swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Dugachio's method was horrifying and cruel. It made one's scalp tingle. Even if the martial artists of the Maluo dynasty were used to all kinds of killings, they still felt a little frightened when they thought of such a bloody and cruel method. At this moment, Dugachio's hands were stained with blood. His white hair was also stained with specks of blood, which added a bit of desolation to it. Master Hun Demon was stunned, and his face slightly froze. To be honest, if it was him, he could do it too. However, it was absolutely impossible to do it so cleanly, and it was even more impossible to kill a group of geniuses in such a short period of time. But in an instant, rage and hostility appeared in Master Hun Demon's eyes. Dugachio actually tortured and killed the people of Mystic Demon Palace in front of him. If he didn't kill Dugachio, where would he put his face? Dugachio die. Master Hun Demon finally made his move. He waved one hand, and 10 flying shuttle-like divine weapons appeared. Each flying shuttle was dipped in poison, and all kinds of runes were engraved on it. Master Hun Demon urged his soul power, and poured it into the 10 flying shuttles, and flew toward Dugachio. He was good at the Tao of Soul, so even the weapons were driven by his soul power. Comparing the Tao of Soul, Dugachio's mouth lifted into a sneer. Who would be better at the Tao of Soul than the Soul Devourer clan? Dugachio activated the Soul Devourer Demon Eye again. Master Hun Demon immediately felt that there was an abnormality in his sea of consciousness, and it was trembling endlessly. It even affected the 10 flying shuttles, and their speed slowed down. This Dugachio's demon eye is indeed a bit strange. If I didn't have the spiritual object protecting my sea of consciousness, I might really be affected. Master Hun Demon's body trembled, but he soon calmed down. Originally, he didn't believe Dugachio's legendary demon eye that could kill anyone it stared at. But now that the truth was in front of him, Master Hun Demon had to believe it. A touch of greed quietly appeared in his eyes. If I can dig out this Dugachio's demon eye, I might be able to understand the mystery. My Tao of Soul will become stronger. On the other side, Dugachio didn't look surprised at all. Master Hun Demon's strength wasn't weak, and he was good at the Tao of Soul. Therefore, he would be less affected by the Soul Devourer demon eye. As if seeing the greed in Master Hun Demon's eyes, Dugachio's eyes turned even colder. You want my Soul Devourer demon eye? You're courting death. It had always been Dugachio who oppressed others. No one dared to attack Dugachio. Dugachio reached out with one hand, and the Soul Devourer sword that was stabbed into the ground was summoned. It buzzed and vibrated, rose from the ground, and flew back to his hand. Dugachio held the Soul Devourer sword and slashed out. With a loud clang, one of the flying shuttles was directly smashed into pieces. How can this be? My 10 poisons flying shuttle is a quasi-heavenly tribulation divine weapon. How can it be shattered in one blow? Master Hun Demon's face suddenly changed, greatly surprised. Immediately he controlled the remaining 9 flying shuttles and surrounded Duguqiu Mo. Duguqiu Mo's sword vibrated, and the flying shuttles were shattered and destroyed. But there was still a flying shuttle that grazed Duguqiu Mo's arm. Haha, Duguqiu Mo, you're dead meat. Seeing this, Master Hun Demon laughed heartily. He stepped forward, formed a seal with one hand, and blasted a palm at Duguqiu Mo's soul mourning curse. This palm contained the power of the soul curse, and an ominous aura shrouded the area. The 10 poisons flying shuttle was dipped in poison, enough to melt the internal organs. Therefore, Master Hun Demon was not worried that Duguqiu Mo would dodge this move. Die. Master Hun Demon blasted a palm at Duguqiu Mo's head. Everyone's eyes were unblinking at this moment, and even their breathing was about to stop. Was the white-haired sword demon, who had slaughtered 13 cities, about to fall? Chapter 1175. Not far away, Qing Qing's pretty face turned even paler when she saw this scene. If Duguqiu Ma died because of her, Qing Qing naturally wouldn't want to live alone. Master Hun Demon slapped down with a cold sneer on his face. This is the result of provoking my mystic demon palace. After you die, I will dig out your demon eye, and then dote on your heavenly demon sex saintess. Oh, is that so? Duguqiu Ma suddenly raised his head, the corners of his mouth raised into a cold and cruel arc. He refined the battle god demon body, black demon runes emerged from under his skin, and then his fists collided with Master Hun Demon's palm. How is this possible? Master Hun Demon's face changed drastically, as if he had seen a ghost. The poison on his flying shuttle was enough to melt the enemy's internal organs even if it was just a little bit. But why was Duguqiu Ma still able to move? There wasn't even a trace of poison. However, before Master Hun Demon could think about it, he felt a terrifying force coming from his arm. Master Hun Demon was good at the Tao of Soul, so his physical strength was naturally weak. As for Duguqiu Ma, after attaining the battle god fiend body, his physical body was terrifyingly powerful. Ordinary sky prides of the same level were no match for him, let alone Master Hun Demon who had a weaker physical body. Immediately, a series of cracking sounds of bones were heard. Master Hun Demon hurriedly retreated. His face was pale, and the blood in his chest was turbulent. His left arm was trembling, and his entire arm was twisted in a strange posture. The bones in his arm had been shattered by the terrifying force. This scene was also beyond the expectations of all the onlookers. What's going on? Master Hun Demon's arm was crippled by Duguqiu Ma. Why do I feel that Duguqiu Ma has the ability to be immune to poison? The onlookers were all surprised. Logically speaking, as long as one was of flesh and blood, it was impossible to be immune to poison. Unless Duguqiu Ma was not of flesh and blood, or had a special physique. However, the truth was indeed as these martial artists had guessed. Duguqiu Ma's physique was very special. Qing Qing heaved a sigh of relief when she saw this, and a trace of redness returned to her face. Damn it, you tricked me? Master Soul Demon was so angry that his face turned pale. How could he not know by now that Dugu had asked for the demon's help on purpose to lure him into action, and then bait him? Because you are too stupid, Duguqiu Mo said coldly. You're courting death. Heart-shattering demon wave. Master Hun Mo urged his soul power to spread out along with his Zhen Qi. The void trembled as ripples spread out. This was one of Master Hun Demon's ultimate techniques. True Qi and soul power intertwined. It could cause damage to the physical body and also cause shock to the soul. Using both methods at the same time, it could shatter the enemy's mind. Black Dragon Devour. Duguqiu Mo activated his devouring skill. A pitch-black devouring power spread out from his body and condensed into a black dragon head. It opened its huge mouth and devoured the incoming shockwaves. Rumble. The void trembled like the surface of a drum. The earth was shattered, and cracks appeared. Many cultivators in the distance groaned as blood flowed from their mouths and noses. This move was extremely powerful, and actually caused them to suffer heavy injuries. If it weren't for the distance, their heart meridians would have been shattered. From this, it could be seen how much pressure Wuxia, who was in the middle of the heart-shattering demon wave, was under. Boom. After the collision, the black dragon head was directly shattered, and the heart-shattering demon wave also dissipated. Fourth on the blood ranking, you do have some ability. Wuxia's face was indifferent. Originally, the black dragon devour could reflect the damage of an attack, but there was also a certain limit. If it exceeded this limit, the black dragon devour would be broken. Of course, compared to Wuxia, Master Hun Demon was even more astonished. He blocked my heart-shattering demon wave? Master Hun Demon was astonished. Even an expert of the fourth layer of the divine dwelling stage might not be able to block his move. But Wuxia hadn't even reached the divine dwelling stage. This kid is a little strange. If I want to kill him, it seems I can only use my trump card. Master Hun Demon's face was as cold as frost. He wouldn't easily reveal his trump card, but it was absolutely powerful. Master Hun Demon wasn't stupid. He naturally knew that Wuxia's strength was far beyond what he showed on the surface. If he didn't use his true means, it would be very difficult to kill him. Wuxia, you really hid your strength well. All of us have underestimated you. But if you think you can deal with me, Master Hun Demon, then you are too naive. Master Hun Demon's voice was hoarse and cold, and an inexplicable aura began to surge around his body. Surging soul power was fermenting around him, as though brewing a certain ultimate move. The martial artists in the distance couldn't help but reveal a look of shock and fear. Could it be that Master Hun Demon is going to use his trump card? It should be. It is rumored that the former fourth on the blood ranking was killed by Master Hun Demon with this move. Let alone a fourth layer of the divine dwelling stage, even a fifth or sixth layer expert may not be able to withstand this move. Yes, this move is too strange. Master Hun Demon's state made everyone in the distance fearful. Qingqing also seemed to think of something. Her jade-like face suddenly turned pale, and she shouted in panic, "Gongzi Dugu, quickly leave, he's going to use that move." Oh. Wuxia stood indifferently, a strange light flashing in his eyes. What move was it that made everyone so fearful? He was also a little curious. Haha, it's too late to leave. Master Hun Demon sneered. He lifted his hand, lifting half of his long hair. Before, his forehead hair covered one of his eyes. But at this moment, as Master Hun Demon lifted his hair, the covered eye was also completely exposed. It was a strange dark purple pupil. It emitted a faint purple light that made one's heart palpitate. This strange purple pupil was the source of Master Hun Demon's soul power. It was also his greatest trump card that allowed him to stand at the fourth place on the blood ranking. Innate ability, evil purple pupil. So it's an innate ability. Wuxia's face was still cold when he saw this. There was no trace of surprise or surprise. He had the soul-devouring demon eye. Naturally, others could also have the innate ability of the eye. For example, Gu Xiaoyang was born with a stellar eye between his eyebrows. This was a gift from the heavens. However, it was different from the stellar eyes and the evil purple-eyed pupils. Wuxia's soul-devouring demon eye was derived from the innate ability of the soul-devouring clan. However, as a foreign race of the dark world, the innate ability of the soul-devouring clan was definitely not weaker than these eyes. It might even be stronger. Wuxia, after I kill you, I will dig out your demonic eyes. At that time, both of my eyes will possess astonishing might. With a single glance, who will be able to contend against me? Master Hun Demon had a wanton smile on his face, as if Wuxia was already meat on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. Well, you reminded me. Wuxia nodded slightly. What? Master Hun Demon's eyes sharpened. Wuxia said with a cruel and bloodthirsty smile. After you die, I'll dig out your evil purple pupil. Chapter 1176. You're courting death. Master Hun Demon was enraged. A fierce soul fluctuation surged into the sky. As a heaven's pride of Dark Demon Palace and ranked fourth on the blood ranking, How many people in the Molo dynasty dared to treat him with such an attitude? Duguqioma was the only one. Angering me will only make your death more painful. I'll let you experience the power of the evil purple eye. Master Hun Demon's tone was cold as he activated the evil purple eye. Wisps of strange deep purple light bloomed from the evil purple eye. Duguqioma also activated the soul-devouring demon eye. Wisps of blood light scattered from the demon eye. The current situation was very strange. Duguqioma and Master Hun Demon did not move at all. They were just standing in the same place. But there was a storm in the surroundings. The earth cracked and the sky shook. It was as if there was some invisible force colliding violently and destroying everything. This was the collision of soul eye techniques. It was silent but strange and deadly. Young Master Dugu. Qing gritted her teeth and retreated to a distance to heal her injuries. Her attention was focused on the battle. Because Master Hun Demon's trump card was really strange and fierce. It had killed many heaven's prides of Molo dynasty. So Qing was very worried. The other martial artists were also paying close attention to the battle. As time passed, Duguqioma and Master Hun Demon both took a step back. A line of blood seeped out of each other's eyes. How could this be? Master Hun Demon seemed to be in disbelief as he stared at Duguqioma. His evil purple eye could not suppress Duguqioma's soul-devouring demon eye, and could not invade his sea of consciousness. The result was obvious. Whether it was the demon eye or the strength of his soul, Duguqioma was not inferior to Master Hun Demon, who was famous for his soul Dao. Impossible. If his soul power is so strong, how can his body be so strong? Master Hun Demon still could not believe it. Generally speaking, a chosen would either have a powerful true energy cultivation base, a powerful soul force, or a powerful fleshly body. As for Duguqioma, other than the fact that his cultivation state was slightly lower, the power of his physical body and the power of his soul were so strong that they had reached the pinnacle. This was something that Master Hun Mozi could not believe. Duguqioma used his hand to wipe away the blood at the corner of his eyes. He frowned slightly and sighed in his heart. Sigh, I'm still too unfamiliar with the use of the demonic soul-devouring eye. Duguqioma was certain that the power of the soul-devouring demon eye had yet to be fully unleashed. The current soul-devouring demonic eye was probably only 10 to 20% of its original power. It was only after Duguqioma broke through to the divine dwelling stage that the power and ability of the spirit-devouring demon eye would be unearthed again. However, even 10 to 20% of his power was enough to flatten Master Hun Demon's evil purple eye. From this, one could see how powerful the soul-devouring demon eye was. Master Hun Demon was so confident in his evil purple eye, but in the end he couldn't even suppress the incomplete soul-devouring demonic eye. When the surrounding 1,000 martial artists saw this scene, they were also dumbfounded. They didn't expect this result. Duguqioma's demonic eye is so powerful that even Master Hun Demon can't suppress it. Who knows, maybe Master Hun Demon didn't use his full strength. Many martial artists were whispering to each other. Master Hun Demon's face alternated between green and white. He indeed didn't hold back just now, but he still couldn't suppress the demonic soul-devouring demonic eye. No, Master Hun Demon, must not be defeated. Master Hun Demon's eyes flashed with determination. He must not be defeated by Duguqioma. The next moment, Master Hun Demon bit his finger and smeared the blood on the evil purple eye. In an instant, the evil purple eye bloomed with a demonic purple light. Duguqioma, this is the strongest technique of the evil purple eye. It's enough to destroy your soul. Master Hun Demon roared. And the evil purple eye erupted with boundless purple light. The purple light shrouded Master Hun Demon and Duguqioma. What kind of move is that? Some martial artists were shocked and sucked in a breath of cold air. Master Hun Demon is really going all out. His move is rumored to be able to pull the enemy's consciousness and soul into a mysterious spiritual space. I heard that Master Hun Demon once used this move to erase the consciousness of a fourth-layer divine dwelling expert, turning him into a living dead. A few martial artists who knew some news said with trepidation. What, erase consciousness? Is this the terrifying ability of the evil purple eye? Becoming a living dead is worse than death. Hearing this explanation, The martial artists felt a chill run down their spine. This kind of innate ability was too terrifying. What? Qingqing couldn't help turning pale when she heard this. She wanted to stop it, but she was blocked by the purple light and couldn't break through. No. How could this be? Qingqing panicked. She attacked again and again, ignoring the wounds on her body. And at this moment, Duguqiuemo suddenly found himself in a strange space. The surrounding purple light was distorted, like a purple river of stars in the depths of the universe. How is it, Duguqiuemo? Do you like this place? Opposite Duguqiuemo, Master Hun Demon stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking incomparably relaxed and indifferent. It was as though he was the king that ruled over everything. Is this the special ability of the evil purple eye? Duguqiuemo still didn't panic. He was equally calm. Oh, pretending to be calm. But it doesn't matter, you will soon feel fear. Master Hun Demon smiled faintly. His body began to expand violently, until he stood indomitable, like an ancient giant. A river of stars revolved around his waist, and the sun and moon were smaller than his eyes. Duguqiuemo. In this consciousness space, I, Master Hun Demon, am the king, the emperor, and the god that rules over everything. Master Hun Demon's voice was vast and mighty, coming from all directions. Is that so? Duguqiuemo held the God Devourer sword and swung it with one hand. However, the sword light seemed to have cut through the void, passing through Master Hun Demon's huge body. It's useless. Duguqiuemo, I have said that I am a god. Your attack can't hurt me, but I can crush you like an ant. Master Hun Demon looked down at Duguqiuemo from above. I see. I understand now. This is the consciousness space you created with the evil purple eye, and then you pulled my consciousness into it. If my consciousness can't withstand the torture, and is annihilated, I will become a living dead, right? Duguqiuemo said calmly. You have some knowledge, but have you thought about how you want to die? I can use a million kinds of torture to torture your consciousness. Master Hun Demon sneered. Ridiculous. Duguqiuemo shook his head and smiled. What are you laughing at? Master Hun Demon's face changed slightly, but he immediately calmed down, and the corner of his mouth held a sneer. In his view, Duguqiuemo should be trying to be brave, deliberately mystifying things. I'm laughing because you don't know what kind of existence the enemy you are facing is. As Duguqiuemo's voice fell, his aura burst out. His white hair fluttered, and his eyes were like a sword. The dark golden soul devourer devil eye erupted with an unprecedented blood light. Behind Duguqiuemo, a terrifying figure with monstrous demonic aura slowly appeared. This is... Master Hun Demon was aghast. Chapter 1177. The vague illusory figure behind Duguqiuemo filled the space. It was as if the consciousness space couldn't trap it. The figure's white hair fluttered like a white river of stars. The face was extremely blurry. Only two dark golden eyes could be seen, like the eyes of an ancient demon god, overlooking the world. This figure was the same as the white-haired Soul Eater clan's physical body, suppressed under the pyramid of the sacred dynasty, Hunmiayan. This figure was also a technique derived from Duguqiuemo's Soul Eater Fiend Eye. Hunmozi could use the evil purple eye to create a consciousness space and pull Duguqiuemo's consciousness into it. Duguqiuemo could also use the power of the Soul Eater Fiend Eye to condense its original form, which was Hunmiayan. Because Duguqiuemo's Soul Eater clan talent came from Hunmiayan's Soul Source Crystal. What the hell is this? This is definitely not your consciousness. Hunmozi's eyes revealed a trace of panic. He reached out and grabbed Duguqiuemo's consciousness. Duguqiuemo just stood there indifferently. Behind him, the consciousness figure condensed from Hunmiayan's Soul Source Crystal reached out a hand, grabbed Hunmozi's arm, and then tore it off. No! A sharp pain from the soul made Hunmozi let out a shocking scream. In this space I am a god, how can I lose? Hunmozi couldn't believe it. Lowly human reptile. The figure spoke indifferently, like an ancient demon god whispering. Hunmiayan was a pure-blooded Soul Eater royal clan, so his eyes were Soul Eater Fiend Eye. Unlike Duguqiuemo, who only had one Soul Eater Fiend Eye, When the figure activated the Soul Eater Fiend Eye, it seemed to be able to distort the space here. Hun Mozi's huge figure also began to distort and collapse. No, how is this possible? I want to retreat. Hun Mozi's face was pale. He was really panicking. He didn't think that using the evil purple eye as his trump card would end up being the same as shooting himself in the foot. Soul Demon Child, thank you for pulling me into your consciousness. Otherwise, it would be a little troublesome to kill you. Dugu Chiyomo's lips curled into a cold smile. What is this thing? It's definitely not human. Who are you? Master Hun Demon was about to go crazy. His eyes were bloodshot. He never thought that Dugu Chiyomo would have such a trump card. He had no idea that such an ancient and terrifying existence was hidden in the depths of Dugu's demonic consciousness. You can call him the soul-devouring royal family. Dugu Chiyomo said indifferently. Soul-devouring royal family. Master Hun Demon's eyes revealed a hint of confusion. With his horizons, it was simply impossible for him to know about the ancient deeds of the dark world. Boom. In the next moment, Hun Demon's consciousness was directly shattered by Hun Miayan's figure. It could be said that Master Hun Demon had dug his own grave. However, after Master Hun Demon's consciousness was destroyed, Hun Miayan's figure did not immediately disappear. Dugu Chiyomo frowned slightly. You will eventually return to my clan and fight for my clan. Betray the all heavens and become the king of the soul-devouring clan. Hun Miayan's figure muttered in a somewhat profound manner before disappearing. Betray the all heavens and become the king of the soul-devouring clan? Dugu Chiyomo shook his head. This kind of thing was too far away from him. Now was not the time to think about it. In the outside world, seeing that there was no movement in the purple light, most of the martial artists thought that Dugu Chiyomo was most likely going to die. Qingqing's jade-like hands were full of scars. No matter how she bombarded it, she could not break the purple light curtain. Just as she was feeling despair in her heart, the purple light suddenly dissipated. The figures of Master Hun Demon and Dugu Chiyomo were revealed in front of everyone. Looking at the two figures standing opposite each other like clay sculptures, everyone's eyes were filled with bewilderment. Who won? Is there a need to guess? It must be Master Hun Demon. When Qingqing saw Dugu Chiyomo's figure, she directly pounced on him. Young Master Dugu, wake up. Qingqing's eyes were hazy with tears. She bit her lips so hard that blood oozed out. If she hadn't been captured, Dugu Chiyomo wouldn't have come. If he didn't come, he wouldn't have died. Why are you crying? A faint voice sounded, causing Qingqing's delicate body to tremble. She suddenly raised her head and stared at Dugu Chiyomo's face. Dugu Chiyomo opened his eyes and said faintly, Young Master Dugu. Qingqing threw herself into Dugu Chiyomo's arms. At this moment, all the awkwardness, grievance, anger, and jealousy no longer existed. She just wanted to lean into Dugu Chiyomo's arms. What? When the surrounding martial artists saw this scene, their eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. Their eyes turned to Master Hun Demon at the same time. They saw Master Hun Demon's figure standing upright like a living corpse. Blood flowed out from his 7 orifices. His eyes never opened. Hiss! Thousands of martial artists took a deep breath at the same time. Their hearts turned cold. Dead Master Hun Demon, ranked 4th on the blood ranking and known for his Tao of Soul, had fallen after using his trump card. If this news were to spread out, it would definitely set off a huge wave. Everyone was puzzled. They stared at Dugu Chiyomo as if they were staring at a monster. How did he counterattack? Everyone was curious, but no one had the courage to go forward and ask. After comforting Qingqing a little, Dugu Chiyomo walked in front of Master Hun Demon. Under everyone's gaze, Dugu Chiyomo directly reached out and dug out Master Hun Demon's evil purple eye. Blood flowed out. Everyone felt pain in their eyes. At the same time, they were even more afraid of Dugu Chiyomo. He was definitely a ruthless and ruthless character. He meant what he said. After obtaining the evil purple eye, Dugu Chiyomo plundered Master Hun Demon's Azura blood. Once again, he obtained more than 2,000 bottles of Azura blood. The score displayed on the bloodstone also soared to 5,600 points. Then he indifferently swept his gaze over his surroundings. Those martial artists felt their scalps go numb. Without the slightest hesitation, they hurriedly fled, fearing that Duguqioma would kill them along the way. Duguqioma didn't make a move. He simply felt that it was a little troublesome. He turned to look at Qingqing. Qingqing lowered her head, ashamed and unable to show her face. She had deliberately kept a distance from Duguqioma before, but now she still needed him to save her. The deepest part of the Azura Blood Road is too dangerous. You should return after recuperating from your injuries, Duguqioma said casually. Qingqing bit her lips, a complicated expression on her face. But she had to admit that although she was at the second layer of the divine dwelling stage, she was only a burden to Duguqioma. But Duguqioma's words seemed to carry a trace of concern. Young Master Dugu, are you concerned about Qingqing? Qingqing suddenly pursed her lips and smiled. Duguqioma turned around and said indifferently, I'm leaving first. With that he flashed and left. Qingqing's pretty face flashed with sadness, shaking her head. She wasn't qualified to possess Duguqioma, and it was impossible for her to possess him. At the same time, on the other side of the Azura Blood Road, Yuanhua, clad in black gold armor and a blood-red cloak, was delayed by a black-veiled woman. What do you want to do? Yuanhua frowned. This mysterious woman with a black veil didn't attack him, nor did she allow him to leave. What was even stranger was that Yuanhua actually felt an extreme sense of danger coming from the mysterious woman. This caused him to be surprised. Well, if that guy isn't weak, he should have been dealt with by now, the black-veiled woman said to herself. What? Could it be Master Hun Demon? Yuanhua's eyes sharpened. Chapter 1178. Previously, Master Hun Demon had sent a message saying that he had captured Qingqing and wanted to use her to lure out Duguqioma. After Yuanhua received the message, he rushed straight to the place Master Hun Demon had mentioned. But halfway there, he was stopped by the mysterious black-masked woman. Yuanhua felt an extremely dangerous feeling from the woman, so he was very cautious and didn't make a move. But now, hearing the words of the masked woman, Yuanhua immediately thought of Master Hun Demon. But the corners of his mouth curved in a sneer. Miss, you mean that Duguqioma has the ability to deal with Master Hun Demon? The masked woman nodded confidently. Of course. Ah, ridiculous. Yuanhua felt it was extremely ridiculous. How could Duguqioma, who hadn't even broken through to the divine dwelling stage, defeat Master Hun Demon, who was at the fourth layer of the divine dwelling stage? In particular, Master Hun Demon also had the remarkable ability Purple Eye Evil Pupil. If he used the Purple Eye Evil Pupil, even Yuanhua wouldn't dare to be careless. So Yuanhua didn't think there was a possibility of Master Hun Demon losing. He ignored the woman and left in a flash. The black-masked woman didn't stop him this time and let him leave. The veiled woman finally smiled in a lovely manner after Master Hun Demon left. She muttered to herself, Wanner has already helped you once. Don't fail to beat a single Master Hun Demon. That will really disappoint me. The black-masked woman was Witch Wanner. With a twist of her lily-white hand, she took out a dazzling demon bead. If he defeated Master Hun Demon, it's time to come into contact with him. After all, Wanner alone can't deal with that pair of dog and dog. Wanner narrowed her eyes and said in a cold voice. On the other side, Yuanhua finally arrived at the place Master Hun Demon had mentioned. But when he arrived, the scene in front of him made Yuanhua's head buzz. He couldn't believe his eyes. There were broken limbs everywhere. They were all dead disciples of the mystic demon hall. How is this possible? Yuanhua scrunched his brows. The next moment, his gaze suddenly shifted to the half-kneeling ice-cold corpse. The figure's long hair was disheveled, and blood was flowing out of his 7 orifices. One of his eyes was empty. It was the corpse of Master Hun Demon. How could this be? Yuanhua's eyes trembled. Even with his cold and indifferent personality, he still showed such shock. It could be seen how shocked he was. Impossible. Could it be Duguqioma? But how could he have the ability to kill Master Hun Mo? Yuanhua approached Master Hun Demon's corpse and saw the frozen expression on Master Hun Demon's face. It was distorted and horrified, as though he had seen something terrifying. Master Hun Mo's personality is cold and cruel. Even he has such an expression. Duguqioma, What are you hiding? Yuanhua murmured. He wasn't stupid. If young Master Hun Demon was really killed by Duga Qioma, then Qiuma's hidden strength might be extremely shocking. However, even if you've hidden your strength, I Yuanhua swear that I will kill you. Yuanhua left this place and rushed towards the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. At the same time, at the periphery of the Azura Blood Road, it could be said that monstrous waves had been set off. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the blood-red light screen. They saw with their own eyes that Master Hun Demon's name turned gray before it finally disappeared. Everyone was stunned and couldn't come back to their senses for a moment. Master Hun Demon was a top heaven's pride of Mystic Demon Palace, ranked 4th on the blood ranking. Not to mention in the Luo dynasty, even in the entire Nantian region, he was definitely not weak among the younger generation. But now he had actually fallen. Fan Yuan and the others from Mystic Demon Palace couldn't believe their eyes and their scalps went numb. Just as Master Hun Demon's name disappeared, Duga Qiuma's ranking skyrocketed again, directly jumping to the 2nd place. He was second only to Yi Songshan, who was ranked 1st on the blood ranking. Pei Tu and the other Heavenly Devil Sect elders were dumbfounded. Even they couldn't believe their eyes. Duga Qiuma, it must be Duga Qiuma who killed Master Hun Demon. A Heavenly Devil Sect elder said excitedly. Master Hun Demon had just fallen and Duga Qiuma's score had skyrocketed, rushing to the 2nd place on the blood ranking. This was definitely not a coincidence. It was very likely that Duga Qiuma had killed Master Hun Demon. After this guess was spread, everyone was shocked. That's impossible. Fan Yuan's face was ashen. He had previously said that if Duga Qiuma encountered the 2 heaven prides of Mystic Demon Palace, he would undoubtedly die. In the end he was dead, but the one who died was Master Hun Demon. Mystic Demon Palace should accept reality, let alone Master Hun Demon. Even Yuanhua will follow in his footsteps. Pei Tu sneered, feeling a burst of joy. Of course, he was just saying that to make the Mystic Demon Palace unhappy. After all, Yuanhua was stronger than Master Hun Demon. Duga Qiuma was able to kill Master Hun Demon? The Demon Queen's charming face also revealed a look of surprise. The young man, who she had looked down on and ignored at the beginning, was now performing more and more amazingly in the Azura Blood Road. While the outside world was in great waves because of the death of Master Hun Demon, Duga Qiuma was heading towards the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. He had a feeling that the final battle was about to come, and the opportunity to break through to the Divine Dwelling stage and create a flawless divine dwelling was likely to be hidden in the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. There was also the rumored inheritance of a supreme expert, hidden in the depths of the Azura Blood Road. Duga Qiuma was also very interested in it. But before that, Duga Qiuma still needed to solve one thing. He spread out his palm, and the purple eye evil pupil lay quietly in his palm. How should I use this purple eye evil pupil? Do I really have to dig out my left eye and implant the pupil in it? Duga Qiuma frowned. He wasn't afraid of digging out his eye, because Duga Qiuma's body could shield him from pain. Duga Qiuma just felt that the body should be kept intact and harmonious. Although the purple eye evil pupil was strong, it was Master Hun Demon's innate ability. Forcibly implanting it on his body might not bring out the best effect. But then, Duga Qiuma's soul-devouring demon eye suddenly began to tremble. Duga Qiuma sensed something and directly placed the purple eye evil pupil close to the soul-devouring demon eye. In an instant, a devouring force erupted, and the power of the purple eye evil pupil was completely absorbed by the soul-devouring demon eye. The blood-red lines in the dark golden pupil of the soul-devouring demon eye became brighter and deeper. At the same time, Duga Qiuma instinctively received a message in his mind. The soul-devouring demon eye, after devouring the power of the purple eye evil pupil, had obtained the ability of the purple eye evil pupil. That was, the ability to pull the consciousness and spirit of the enemy into one's consciousness space. It was definitely a terrifying ability. It could be said that Master Hun Demon's ability was a great threat even in the face of Yuanhua, Princess Luo Ho and the others. But he just had to court death and run into Duga Qiuma, who had inherited the talent of the soul-devouring clan. Chapter 1179. But if you want to use this ability, you have to pay a high price. After sorting out the information in his mind, Duguqioma frowned slightly. Because to use this ability, it would consume a lot of the Sea of Consciousness origin. If the soul power was consumed, it could be recovered slowly. But if the Sea of Consciousness origin was consumed, it would be difficult to recover. Duguqioma had 1/3 of Yi Guchen's Sea of Consciousness origin, plus the soul source crystal of soul extinguishing flame, and so on. Even so, it was impossible to support Duguqioma to use this move frequently. No wonder Soul Demon rarely uses this move. It turns out that he uses it desperately. Duguqioma suddenly realized. This move was just like Yi Guchen's Eye of the Void. It could kill 1,000 enemies but hurt 800 of his own. Duguqioma decided that he would not use this move unless it was necessary. In his palm, the evil purple eye had turned into a stone-like grayish-white color. Duguqioma closed his 5 fingers and directly crushed it into flying ashes. However, just as Duguqioma wanted to continue to go deeper into the Azura Blood Road, a charming voice that could make one's lower abdomen burn suddenly sounded. "I finally found you." The voice was extremely charming and seductive. Listening to the tone, it was as if she had found a lover she had not seen for a long time. Duguqioma narrowed his eyes and turned around. A woman with a black veil over her face, who was dressed in a black dress and had a devilish figure, was staring at him with her beautiful eyes that were so enchanting that they could drip water. The burning gaze in her eyes was as if she had really seen her lover. In her white jade-like palm, there was a demonic bead that was emitting an unprecedented blazing light. "Well, you are?" Duguqioma frowned. He did not waver because of the seductive figure and half-covered appearance of the woman in front of him. Instead, he became more vigilant. This woman did not seem to be in the top 10 of the blood ranking of the Maro Kingdom, but the sense of danger she brought to Duguqioma was more than Princess Luoho and the others. Seeing that there wasn't the slightest fluctuation in Dugu's demon-seeking eyes, Wonner couldn't help being surprised. She was born with a natural charm, and was a peerless seductress. No matter how firm a man's heart was, when he first saw her, he couldn't help but feel a little confused. But Dugu begged the devil, his eyes were as indifferent as a pool of stagnant water. That feeling was like a stone without human emotions. Looks like it can't be wrong, Wonner thought. Dugu's performance in seeking demons was indeed different from ordinary people. Thinking of this, Wonner smiled. Even though her face was covered by a black veil, her faint smile was still very moving. "I traveled thousands of miles, crossing mountains and rivers to come here. Why don't you have any reaction?" Wonner said, feeling wronged. Traveling thousands of miles, crossing mountains and rivers? Duguqiomo's expression became even more solemn. This sentence revealed a lot of information. This woman was not from the Molo dynasty, and the fact that she was able to travel thousands of miles to come here proved that there was an extremely powerful force behind her, and her background was definitely extraordinary. Most importantly, listening to the meaning of this sentence, this woman had come to find him. All kinds of speculations were churning in Duguqiomo's mind. Perhaps even Wonner herself didn't think that with just one sentence, Duguqiomo could deduce so much information. "Who are you?" Duguqiomo asked straightforwardly. "Which Wonner have you heard of me?" Wonner smiled sweetly. "No." Duguqiomo shook his head. He didn't travel in the South Horizon region, and his real body Yi Guchen didn't know much about her. "You." Wonner almost staggered and fell. In the South Horizon region, she was famous for her beauty, but Duguqiomo had never heard of her. "I am a member of the Demon Extermination Sect." "You have heard of the Demon Extermination Sect, right?" Wonner didn't hide it and said straightforwardly. "One of the 3 great sects of the South Horizon region. Presumably all the peddlers knew about it." Demon Extermination Sect. Duguqiomo raised his eyebrows slightly. This was somewhat out of his expectations. He didn't think that this woman called Wonner actually had such a shocking origin. None of the geniuses of the Overlord forces were easy to deal with. Duguqiomo's expression became even more solemn. Of course, he didn't forget. In the Demon Extermination Sect, there was a cultivation method that was very suitable for him to cultivate. It was the founder of the demon extermination sect, the world extermination demon venerable's own origin cultivation method, the demon extermination heart sutra. Duguchyo had always kept this matter in his heart. From your tone, your target seems to be me? Duguchyo's gaze fell on the glowing demon bead in Wanner's hand, and said lightly, to be precise, what Wanner is looking for is the person who triggered the demon emperor's descent to the ninth heaven phenomenon. Wanner finished speaking, and her charming eyes stared straight at Duguchyo. That blazing gaze seemed to want to melt Duguchyo, as expected. Duguchyo thought to himself, if there was anything that Wanner was interested in, it was probably the heaven ferocious fate and the demon emperor's descent to the ninth heaven. It seems that you've already determined that I'm the person who triggered the demon emperor's descent to the ninth heaven phenomenon? Duguchyo asked lightly. More or less. The demon bead won't lie. Wanner held up the demon bead and smiled. This was because the founder of the demon extermination sect, the world extermination demon venerable, was the person who triggered the demon emperor's descent to the ninth heaven phenomenon. Therefore, there was a treasure in the demon extermination sect that could guide the person who triggered the demon emperor's descent to the ninth heaven phenomenon. It was the demon bead in the witch's hand. It was also because of this that the witch was certain that the person who triggered the demon emperor's descent to the Mola dynasty. I am indeed the person who triggered the demon emperor's descent to the ninth heaven phenomenon, so what do you want? Since he had already confirmed it, Duguchyo might as well admit it. He wanted to know where the demon extermination sect stood. If the demon extermination sect wanted to harm him, Duguchyo would make sure Wanner remained in the path of cultivation forever, even if he had to pay the price. Wanner seemed to have sensed the murderous intent in Duguchyo's eyes. Wanner put on a sad expression and said, I helped you before. Do you want to kill me? Help me? Duguchyo looked puzzled. This was the first time he and Wanner had met. When had Wanner helped him? Wanner stopped Yuan Hua in his tracks, Wanner said. Duguchyo suddenly understood and said, although it wasn't necessary, I owe you a favor. Tell me, what's your purpose? Since Wanner was showing goodwill to him, Duguchyo wouldn't make enemies for nothing. It's very simple. I hope you can join the demon extermination sect, Wanner said. Duguchyo's expression didn't change much. Instead he asked why. Because you're a demon emperor phenomenon. Only the demon extermination sect can nurture you better. If you can grow up smoothly, it's not impossible for you to become the demon extermination sect's young master. Wanner's tone was charming and had a hint of persuasion. I don't think it's that simple. Duguchyo smiled coldly. He never believed in such benefits that fell from the sky. Of course, the demon extermination sect's internal strife is very intense. But you're different. You're a demon emperor phenomenon. You can cultivate the demon extermination heart sutra to perfection. You're the most likely to succeed, Wanner said. Oh, it seems that the demon extermination sect's situation isn't too good either, Duguchyo said meaningfully. There was probably a big problem inside the demon extermination sect. Otherwise, Wanner wouldn't have traveled thousands of miles to find him, a demon emperor phenomenon. Wanner bit her lips slightly and said, You're right. But I'm afraid you have another reason to join forces with me. Oh, what's the reason? Duguchyo asked. Because someone wants to kill you before you grow up, Wanner said. Who dares? Duguchyo smiled coldly. His personality was arrogant and unruly. He was not afraid of the heavens or the earth. Anyone who wanted to kill him had to be prepared to be killed first. Itsang Yue Gu Xiaoyang. Wanner said word by word. What? When he heard Gu Xiaoyang's name, Duguchyo's expression suddenly changed. His killing intent surged and shook the heavens. Heaven and earth had turned blood red because of this intense killing intent. Chapter 1180. The name Gu Xiaoyang completely triggered Duguchyo's nerves. Although he had never seen Gu Xiaoyang before, as a clone of Yi Guqin, his hatred and murderous intent towards Gu Xiaoyang was no less than that of Yi Guqin himself. Duguqioma finally knew that the two familiar auras he felt outside the Azura Bloody Road were from Yi Songyue and Gu Xiaoyang. Wanner was surprised when she felt Duguqioma's uncontrollable murderous intent. Why was his reaction so big when he heard that someone wanted to kill him? She looked at Duguqioma meaningfully and said, "What's wrong? Does Mr. Dugu have a feud with these two?" "No, I'm just a little upset when I heard that someone wanted to kill me." Duguqioma controlled his mind and calmed down. He could not tell Wanner about Yi Guchen for the time being. Who knew if Wanner was sincere or not? Wanner nodded and did not dwell on it. "Why does Yi Songyue want to kill me?" Duguqioma asked. He did not ask about Gu Xiaoyang. There was no need to ask. Their feud was already irreconcilable. However, Duguqioma was surprised by Yi Songyue. "Haha. She doesn't want you to join the demonic sect. She doesn't want the demonic sect to have another big devil. Sister Songyue is such a white lotus." Wanner giggled. Duguqioma frowned slightly and pondered. He knew that Yi Songyue had the immortal divine embryo, which could fuse with Yi Guchen's innate sword embryo to form a powerful innate indestructible sword embryo. In this way, he could not kill Yi Songyue directly. Wanner looked at Duguqioma pondering and misunderstood. She thought that Duguqioma might have some thoughts about Yi Songyue. She smiled charmingly and said, "What's wrong? Have you fallen for Sister Tsangyu?" But then again, Sister Tsangyu is known as a fairy and her beauty is known far and wide. Even one of the 10 young masters, Gu Xiaoyang, is willing to prostrate himself before her. Gu Xiaoyang? Who does he think he is? Duguqioma sneered. Then he asked, "So what's your next plan?" Wanner said seriously, "If Wanner's guess is correct, the two of them are also in the Azura Blood Road. Moreover, they might be waiting in the depths for the fish to take the bait. To be honest, whether it's Wanner or you, young Master Dugu, you definitely can't deal with the two of them alone. It's very likely that you'll be suppressed and killed instead. So the only way is for us to work together." Wanner's meaning was simple. She and Duguqioma joined forces to deal with Yi Songyue and Gu Xiaoyang. Sure. Duguqioma nodded without hesitation. Although he was arrogant and unruly, he was not a brainless person. With his current strength, it would not be too much of a problem for him to deal with one of them alone. However, it was beyond his power to deal with two of them at the same time. As expected of a demonic emperor phenomenon. Simple and straightforward. Then I wish us victory. Wanner smiled sweetly and extended her slender hand. Duguqioma extended his hand indifferently. Wanner's hand was small and delicate, soft and boneless. It was very comfortable to touch. However, Duguqioma did not linger. Just as he was about to withdraw his hand, Wanner grabbed it. "Do you want to have a fated marriage?" Wanner smiled ambiguously. "With you?" Duguqioma sneered. "You're thinking too much." Wanner blushed slightly under her black veil. How could this devilishly charming young man be more flirtatious than her? Of course it's Sister Songyue. Wouldn't it be a wonderful story of a fairy and a demon king? Wanner said mischievously. "We'll talk about it when the time comes." Duguqioma did not mind. He did not care much about the matters between men and women. Wanner stuck out her tongue. She already started scheming in her heart. In the following time, Wanner and Duguqioma headed towards the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. Not just them, the remaining surviving martial artists also rushed towards the deepest part together. At the beginning, there were several tens of thousands of martial artists who entered the Azura Blood Road. Now the number was less than several thousand. It could be seen how tragic and cruel the Azura Blood Road was. Another day passed. Duguqioma and Wanner also finally arrived at the deepest part of the Azura Blood Road. Saying it was the deepest part was actually because there was already no path to go. Because ahead was a sea. Accurately speaking, it was a blood-colored sea. Blood waves surged to the sky, without an end. The Azura Blood Road came to an end here. Could that be a large-scale Azura blood pool? Duguqioma said in surprise. However, this could no longer be called a blood pool. It should be called the Azura Blood Sea. Looks like this place should be the birthplace of the Azura blood. However, where is that supreme powerhouse's inheritance? Duguqioma frowned, pondering. He discovered that at the periphery of this azure blood sea, there were already many martial artists' figures appearing, but they were all very strange. They did not go to the edge of the azure blood sea to obtain the azure blood. Duguchyo Mo casually grabbed a person and asked. When that person saw Duguchyo Mo, he said while trembling with fear, because inside this blood sea, there seems to be some power. The people who went to collect the azure blood previously were all directly swallowed up by the blood waves. So that's how it is. Duguchyo Mo Ming let that person go. That person hurriedly ran far away, as if Duguchyo Mo was the death god. Am I so scary? Duguchyo Mo asked. Of course. Now everyone in the Azure Blood Road knows that you killed Master Hun Demon and dug out his eyes. You're just like an Azura from hell, Wanner said with a smile. Killing Master Hun Demon, who was ranked 4th on the blood ranking, made Duguchyo Mo infamous. Plus, many people witnessed it with their own eyes, so the authenticity of the news also skyrocketed. Many people's eyes quietly fell on Duguchyo Mo. Their eyes were filled with surprise. Just as Duguchyo Mo was thinking about how to collect the Azure blood, another beautiful figure swept over from the distant sky. Gray hair, tall, graceful, and sexy figure. It was Princess Luoho. She bit her red lips with her pearly white teeth. Her beautiful eyes under the mask had a hint of coldness as she stared at Duguchyo Mo. It's Princess Luoho, but why is she staring at Duguchyo Mo? Many martial artists noticed it. Tizke, young Master Dugu, it seems that your luck with women is not bad, Wanner said from the side. Duguchyo Mo smiled indifferently and said to Princess Luoho, Your Highness, I trust you have been well since we last met. Princess Luoho just snorted coldly. She didn't know why, but when she saw the charming woman in black standing beside Duguchyo Mo, she had a very unpleasant feeling in her heart. Not long after, a figure wearing a hood and holding a white bone staff arrived. It was the Heaven Witchcraft Godchild. He stayed far away from Duguchyo Mo, not daring to get close because he was really afraid of Duguchyo Mo unless it was necessary. The Heaven Witchcraft Godchild would never provoke Duguchyo Mo again. Duguchyo Mo didn't care. In his eyes, the Heaven Witchcraft Godchild was just a relatively large ant. Then another figure appeared in the distance. He was dressed in black and had a head of black hair. He walked over slowly with a sword in his hand that was still stained with blood. He was slowly wiping it with a white cloth. He had a handsome appearance and a pair of eyes as deep as the night. At this moment, he swept his gaze across the crowd and smiled faintly. Everyone is here. This person was the number 1 on the blood ranking Yi Songshan. Chapter 1181. All the martial artists present looked at Yi Songshan with extreme fear. Although Yi Songshan did not seem to have any killing intent, and was even smiling, he was definitely not the first on the blood ranking. Yi Songshan was also a ruthless person who had massacred a city. He was a typical smiling tiger. However, what was even more frightening was his background. Because he did not belong to the 6 major forces or the Mara royal family, his background was very mysterious. Yi Songshan looked at Princess Luoho and smiled faintly. I heard that someone made the princess unhappy. Princess Luoho did not say anything. Yi Songshan's black eyes turned to Duguchyo Mo. He glanced at Wanner with a slightly surprised look, as if he knew something. Duguchyo Mo said faintly, What? Are you going to stand up for Princess Luoho? You're not worthy enough for me to use the demon-edged sword. Yi Songshan wiped the demon-edged sword with a white cloth and shook his head faintly. What he meant was that Duguchyo Mo was not worthy enough for him to attack. You're being underestimated. Wanner chuckled at the side and fanned the flames. Duguchyo Mo did not care. He was not someone who would attack casually. Those who underestimated him would naturally pay the price. Just as the atmosphere fell into silence, a cold voice that carried boundless coldness broke this silence. Duguchyo Mo die. A black gold halberd shot over from afar with the power to pierce through gold and stone. It charged toward Duguchyo Mo. Duguchyo Mo raised his eyebrows slightly. He held the God Devourer sword and flicked it upward. There was a clanging sound of metal colliding, and sparks flew. A powerful force surged over. Duguchyoma's arm shook, and the force was dispelled. The black gold halberd turned back and buzzed before landing in the hands of a figure. That person wore black gold armor, and a blood-red cloak fluttered behind him. Under the black hair was a cold face with a murderous aura. It was the third on the blood ranking, the strongest genius of Mystic Demon Palace, Yuan Hua. Yuan Hua is here. Yuan Hua's arrival caused a huge commotion. Everyone's eyes shifted back and forth between Yuan Hua and Duguchyo Mo. The enmity between the two could be said to be growing deeper and deeper. Duguchyo Mo first killed Yuan Hua's younger brother, Yuan Huang, then killed Mystic Demon Palace's Master Hun Mo. Now he and Yuan Hua were in a situation where one of them had to die. Dugu begs the demon to pay with his life for Yuan Huang and Master Hun Demon. Yuan Hua clasped the black gold halberd in his hand, and without any superfluous words, he directly attacked. Fourth layer divine dwelling stage chi gushed out, and his black hair danced wildly in the wind, as though a demonic war god had awakened. Duguchyo Mo didn't say anything either. Be it Yuan Huang or Master Hun Demon, they were the ones who first targeted Dugu. Since they were targeting him, they had to be prepared to be killed. Duguchyo was not a soft-hearted person. He held the God Devourer sword in his hand and charged forward without any fear. Boom! A great battle broke out, and chi spread out like ripples. Wan Princess Luo Ho, the Heaven Witchcraft Sect's disciple, Yi Songshan and the others were all watching. All the surrounding experts also wanted to know who was stronger between Yuan Hua and Duguchyo. There was no need to say much about Yuan Hua, who had been ranked third on the blood ranking for a long time. Except for Yi Songshan and Princess Luo Ho, no one could shake his position. Duguchyo, on the other hand, was like a fiend star that had appeared out of nowhere, slaughtering 13 cities in a row, and then triumphantly advancing all the way, killing Yuan Huang, Zhong Lai, Yang Buwei, Shan Yu Miaoyu and even Master Hun Demon, who ranked fourth on the blood ranking. It could be said that Duguchyoma's road to fame was a road stained with blood. The collision of the two could be said to have attracted everyone's attention. Demon splitting slash. Yuan Hua poured his chi into the black gold halberd, and the sharp halberd light, which seemed to be able to cut through the sky, ruthlessly slashed at Duguchyo. Duguchyo displayed the Demon 13 swords, and the blood-red sword light split the air, colliding with Yuan Hua's attack. A violent buzzing sound resounded in everyone's ears, as if a metal star had exploded, erupting with an ear-piercing sound. After one blow, the two were forced back at the same time. Yuan Hua suddenly found that there was a small gap on the blade of the black gold halberd. His divine weapon is strange. Yuan Hua's eyes darkened. Seeing this, Duguchyo displayed the battle god demon body again. Black demonic patterns spread out from under his skin, causing his physical strength to soar. Then he displayed the sky-devouring secret technique again, and his strength soared to the third level of the divine dwelling realm. Is this your trump card? Yuan Hua's tone was cold. Although Duguchyoma's strength had soared by 3 small realms, Yuan Hua was not afraid. As the third on the blood ranking, he naturally had the confidence to be the third on the blood ranking. Thorny splitting slash. Yuan Hua spun the black gold halberd in his hand, and terrifying demonic chi erupted. Countless halberd lights spread out like black thorns, turning the surrounding area into a forbidden land. All the surrounding cultivators hurriedly retreated, for fear of being affected. Every ray of halberd light was enough to penetrate a divine dwelling heaven pride. Kill! Yuan Hua roared, and the black gold halberd charged toward Duguchyo with the power of the halberd technique. Wherever it passed, deep cracks were plowed in the ground, and halberd light pierced through the air, shattering the world. Seeing this, Duguchyo changed the Demon 13 swords again. The 2 swords, Blood Kill and Death Shadow, were unable to completely block Yuan Hua's killing move. Is that all you've got? Yuan Hua sneered cruelly. Duguchyoma's eyes were cold. He once again displayed the third sword of the Demon 13 swords. Star burning. A sword streaked across the sky, and demonic flames billowed as if it could burn stars. Then Duguchyo stomped his feet on the ground, soared into the air, and swooped down to display the 4th sword. Moon severing. The god-devouring sword light turned into a curved arc, as if it could cut through the blue moon. But it didn't stop there. Duguqioma instantly gathered the qi in his body and displayed the fifth sword. Sun Erosion. The sword was unsheathed to suppress ghosts and gods, and one sword to destroy the universe. The third, fourth, and fifth sword of the demon 13 swords were all displayed. The three-sword lights split the world, and the incomparable demonic power shook the universe. Rumble. Halberd light and sword light collided, and smoke and dust filled the air. Amidst the confusion, the sound of coughing blood was heard. Everyone's eyes suddenly widened. They saw Yuan Hua's figure rapidly retreating, blood spurting from the corners of his mouth, and the black gold battle armor on his body was riddled with sword marks. The black gold halberd in his hand was also chipped in many places. In this collision, Yuan Hua was at a disadvantage. Hua. An uproar broke out in all directions, and all the cultivators turned their eyes to Duguqioma. Duguqioma also had some wounds on his body, but no blood flowed out. His expression didn't change at all, as if he didn't care about his injuries at all. Third on the blood ranking, you do have some skills, Duguqioma said lightly. Since his rise in the Mayuo dynasty, he had killed all his opponents. Only Yuan Hua, whom he couldn't defeat cleanly. Of course, this was also related to the fact that Duguqioma didn't use his full strength. These few moves were just a test. It could be said that Duguqioma's performance even made Yi Tsangshen take him seriously. Duguqioma, don't be too proud. I haven't used my full strength either. Yuan Hua said coldly, and was about to attack again. At this moment, a frivolous and leisurely voice suddenly sounded. The deepest part of the Azura Bloody Road is quite lively. Hearing this voice, Duguqioma's attention suddenly turned, and his eyes were as sharp as a sword. Gu Xiaoyang. Chapter 1182. In the distance, two black-cloaked figures stepped through the air. That frivolous and leisurely voice came from none other than one of them. Yuan Hua and Duguqioma had temporarily stopped their battle. Duguqioma's gaze was fixed on the figure. Duguqioma would never forget that voice. As someone who shared the same knowledge with Yi Guchen, Duguqioma's voice was also deeply engraved in his mind. He didn't dare to forget their fated enmity for even a moment. Unlike Duguqioma, the other cultivators didn't know the inside story. Yuan Hua, Princess Luoho, the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple, and the others were all bewildered. The reason for that was because they felt an extreme sense of danger from those two figures. Only Yi Tsangshen's ink-black eyes were deep in thought. Since you're here, why hide? Princess Luoho said coldly. You're Princess Luoho of the Mola Empire. You're indeed as cold and beautiful as the rumors say. You're quite beautiful. The frivolous voice contained a hint of arrogance. All the surrounding cultivators were surprised. How dare this person be so impudent to Princess Luoho? How dare you disrespect Princess Luoho? You're courting death. The Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple jumped out again. He had wanted to help Princess Luoho when she was in trouble, but Duguqioma had stopped him. Not only that, he had been defeated and forced to flee. It could be said that he had lost all face in front of Princess Luoho. But fortunately, he now had a chance to show off. Without hesitation, the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple swung his white bone staff at the cloaked figure with a cruel smile. Duguqioma ruined my chance to show off last time. I won't fail this time, right? While the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple was thinking, he heard a cold sneer from the other side. The vision of an ant is really pitiful. The figure formed a seal with his hands and blasted out a palm. The terrifying true chi of the 6th level of the Divine Dwelling stage poured out, condensing into a dazzling seal overflowing with starlight that crushed towards the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple. Great Luo Star Seal. As the seal slammed down, it was as if a star was falling. No. How is this possible? Who the hell are you? The Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple sucked in a deep breath as he felt a chill run down his spine. Wasn't he just trying to impress Princess Luoho? Why was it that he kept encountering such a powerful freak? The Heaven Witchcraft Godchild wanted to cry, but no tears came out. But now the Heaven Witchcraft Godchild could no longer regret his decision. With a loud bang, the star seal directly crushed the Heaven Witchcraft Godchild's body to dust. The 6th on the blood ranking, the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple, was killed in one move. Dead silence around the Azura Blood Sea. The expressions of all the martial artists suddenly changed, as if they had seen a ghost. Even Princess Luoho and Yuan Ho were slightly shocked. They could also kill the Heaven Witchcraft sect's disciple, but it wouldn't be so easy. Only 3 people's expressions did not change. One of them was Yi Tsongshan. With a meaningful look in his eyes, he muttered to himself, "The martial arts of the Starry Sword Pavilion." Wan Er's face was also expressionless. She had expected this, so she was not surprised at all. Her eyes flashed as if she was thinking about how to deal with them. The last one was Duguqioma. He suppressed the strong murderous intent in his heart. Because if he exposed himself too much, he might attract Gu Xiaoyang's suspicion. Now he could not let Gu Xiaoyang know that Yi Guchen was still alive. At least, he could not expose his identity before participating in the prodigy battlefield. Otherwise, not to mention Yi Guchen, even the Sword Dynasty would be implicated. The powerful means of an overlord force were far stronger than those of a top dynasty. "Who are you?" Princess Luoho asked in a low voice. Haha. They took off their cloaks and revealed their true identities. Gu Xiaoyang stood with his hands behind his back. He was wearing a star robe and a star crown, exuding the aura of a superior. He looked at Princess Luoho and the other dynasty prodigies as if he was looking at lowly peasants. Yi Tsangyue was wearing a white robe, like a fairy from the Moon Palace descending to the mortal world. She was as cold as frost and extremely beautiful. "You are." Princess Luoho's cold eyes trembled slightly under her mask. Even though she was a princess, she was shocked at this moment because she recognized who it was. Starry Sword Pavilion Gu Xiaoyang. Misty Sword Pavilion Yi Tsangyue. Her true identity was exposed, causing an uproar. All the martial artists were extremely shocked. They did not expect that the prodigies of an overlord force in the Nantian region would come to the Molo dynasty to participate in the Azura Bloody Path. If this news spread, the Demon Queen and other pseudo-saint experts would be shocked. The corners of Gu Xiaoyang's mouth curled into a sneer as he looked at the terrified uproar in the surroundings. Yi Tsangyue turned to Wan Er and said in a cold voice, "Which you are indeed here." Everyone's eyes fell on Wan Er, and the look in their eyes changed again. "Which is she, the famous witch of the demonic sect, Wan Er?" Many martial artists said in surprise. Princess Luoho was also surprised and looked at Wan Er in surprise. She vaguely knew that the Molo dynasty seemed to have some connection with the demonic sect. "Haha, Sister Tsangyue, you found me." Wan Er covered her face with a black veil, but she still smiled and did not look nervous at all. Yi Tsangyue's face was cold, and her cold moon-like eyes turned to Duguqioma. "It seems that it is him," Yi Tsangyue murmured. At that moment, she was certain that the person Wan Er was looking for was Duguqioma. He was also the executioner who had massacred 13 cities, someone that she disliked. This person hasn't even reached the divine dwelling stage. Gu Xiaoyang frowned. He didn't believe that a person who had triggered the demon emperor descending to the 9th heaven phenomenon hadn't even reached the divine dwelling stage. At the same time, for some reason, Gu Xiaoyang felt an instinctive irritation and disgust when he saw this person, as though he was repelled by this person. The appearance of 3 overlord forces heaven prides in a row made the other Molo dynasty martial artists present look a little solemn. In particular, Princess Luoho and Yuan Ho felt the pressure double. Given their strength, although they wouldn't be killed instantly like the Heaven Witch sect's disciple, they still had no chance of winning. Yi Tsangyue's eyes were fixed on Duguqioma. She absolutely couldn't let Wan Er safely bring Duguqioma back to the demon extermination sect. "What, does elder sister want to fight me now?" Wan Er flashed and landed beside Duguqioma. She could stop Yi Tsangyue, but she wasn't sure if Duguqioma could stop Gu Xiaoyang. The whole scene was filled with the smell of gunpowder because of the enmity between the fairy and the witch, and it seemed that a fight would break out at any moment. Seeing this, Yuan Ho didn't attack Duguqioma for the time being. On the other hand, Gu Xiaoyang's eyes flickered as he looked at the Azura Blood Sea. His main purpose wasn't to deal with Wan Er, but to obtain the inheritance of the supreme expert in the depths of the Azura Blood Road. Yi Songshan also had the same idea as him. Fairy Tsangyue, I don't think it's the time for the final battle, said Gu Xiaoyang. Yi Songshan also stepped forward and said, I think so too. Hearing Yi Songshan's words, Yi Tsangyue and Waner both looked over. They were a little surprised because they felt that Yi Songshan wasn't weaker than them. At this moment, the entire Azura Blood Sea suddenly surged with huge blood-red waves. Then, blood demons appeared one after another. Ordinary blood demons, elite blood demons, and golden body blood demons. There were hundreds and thousands of them. At the same time, a blood-red whirlpool appeared in the depths of the Azura Blood Sea. A majestic and ancient blood-red palace vaguely floated in the whirlpool. The greatest opportunity of the Azura Blood Road had finally appeared. Chapter 1183. When they saw the blood-colored palace in the whirlpool in the depths of the Blood Sea, all the cultivators' eyes were burning with passion. Many of them had heard that there was an ultimate expert's inheritance at the end of the Azura Blood Road. Although they didn't know who the ultimate expert was, or what level he had reached. Since he could form a secret domain like the Azura Blood Road, he must be an ultimate expert. Therefore, all the cultivators wanted to obtain the ultimate expert's inheritance and reach the top in one step. And now, there was no doubt that the blood-colored palace was where the ultimate expert's inheritance was. However, before the cultivators could rejoice, the blood demons that covered the sky were enough to make them tremble in fear. Yi Tsangyue and Waner temporarily restrained their desire to compete. Under such circumstances, it was impossible for them to determine a victor. That inheritance is indeed real. Yi Songshan's eyes flashed with excitement for the first time when he saw the palace floating in the Blood Sea. It was exactly the same as the ultimate expert's inheritance that he had imagined. I must obtain his inheritance. If I obtain it, I will dominate the South Sky region's Heaven Pride's battlefield. Yi Songshan muttered to himself. A great battle broke out, and the blood demons and cultivators clashed. Let's go and find a way to enter the blood-colored palace, Dugu Qioma said to Waner. Dugu Qioma was determined to obtain the ultimate expert's inheritance. Only by obtaining the inheritance would Dugu Qioma have the confidence to face the Heaven Pride's battlefield. Princess Luoho, Yuan Hua, Yi Songshan and the others also took action and rushed towards the blood-colored palace. Fairy Tsangyue, why don't we bury Waner and Dugu Qioma in the blood-colored palace forever? Gu Xiaoyang suggested. Yi Tsangyue hesitated for a moment, then nodded. All the Heaven Prides rushed towards the blood-colored palace. The blood demons also slaughtered the cultivators wantonly, devouring Yuan explosion. Dugu Qioma stretched out his hand, and a terrifying demonic light shot out, blasting an elite blood demon in front of him to pieces. Waner waved her hand, her true chi bursting forth. Her cultivation had also reached the 6th layer of the divine dwelling realm. Next, it would be a process of elimination. Only the strongest prodigies would be able to kill countless blood demons and break out of the encirclement. If Yi Tsangyue and Gu Xiaoyang joined forces, they would naturally be able to break through. Dugu Qioma and Waner together were also very powerful. Their speed was not slower than Yi Tsangyue and Gu Xiaoyang. Yi Songshan wielded the demon-edged sword and revealed his strength for the first time. He had also reached the 6th layer of the divine dwelling realm, causing Yi Tsangyue, Gu Xiaoyang and Waner to raise their eyebrows. At the same time, they seemed to have thought of something and guessed Yi Songshan's background. Who exactly is that Yi Songshan? Dugu Qioma asked. If I'm not wrong, he might have come from there. Waner's tone was unusually serious. Where? Dugu Qioma asked. The Dark World. Waner did not hide anything and said directly. The Dark World. Dugu Qioma's eyes lit up. He had inherited all of Yi Guchen's memories, so he had naturally heard of this name. When he was still in the Saint Origin Empire, Xue Yiqing had mentioned it. If he had the chance in the future, he could come to the Dark World to look for Xue, the Heaven Weeping Witch, Ji Ruqianx. What kind of existence is the Dark World? Dugu Qioma murmured. If you participate in the Heaven Pride battlefield, you may understand, Waner said. The Heaven Pride battlefield, could it be? Dugu Qioma seemed to have thought of something. Princess Luoho, Yuan Hua and the others also charged out of the encirclement. After a bloody massacre, only 7 people managed to reach the blood-colored palace. Yi Songyue, Gu Xiaoyang, Yi Songshan, Yuan Hua, Princess Luoho, Duge Qiuma and Wan'er. The other experts were either killed by the blood demons or gave up and fled because they could not resist. However, to everyone's surprise, the blood demons did not chase after Duge Qiuma and the others after approaching the blood-colored palace. It was as if there was something in the blood-colored palace that made the blood demons respect and fear it. Next, the 7 of them stepped into the palace while being wary of each other. The entire palace was filled with the smell of blood. The murals all around seemed to be engraved with azure hell. A river of the underworld flowed with countless blood and corpses. It was eternal hell. It really is that person. Yi Songshan glanced at the murals. He could not hide his joy. Duge Qiuma noticed the subtle change in Yi Songshan's expression. Does he know something? Duge Qiuma murmured inwardly. After 15 minutes, the 7 of them gradually went into the deepest part of the blood-colored palace. The deeper they went, the more Duge Qiuma and the others could feel a strange heartbeat. It was like a pulse that could not stop beating. The ripples were like the beating of a drum, making everyone feel very oppressed and uncomfortable. Why do I feel like I'm hearing a heartbeat? Wan'er also felt rather uncomfortable. Yi Songyue, Gu Xiaoyang, and the others were the same. They felt their chests tighten as if they could not breathe. It was like they were being suppressed. Only Duge Qiuma felt the least out of the 7 of them. This was because he did not have a heart at all. His heart was only a longevity wood core. As a result, Duge Qiuma was the only one who was not affected at all. However, even so, Duge Qiuma pretended to frown. He looked like he was being suppressed like everyone else. At this moment, the path ahead came to an end. At the end of the palace was an extremely viscous pool of blood. A blood-red gemstone floated above the pool. Viscous azure blood continuously flowed out from the blood-red gem. The strange heartbeat also came from the blood-red gem. The 7 of them looked at the gemstone at the same time. Could the source of the azure blood be that blood-red gem? Duge Qiuma's eyes shone brightly. Without the slightest hesitation, the 7 people present flashed at almost the same time and rushed towards the blood-red gem. However, just as they were about to reach the pool of blood, the entire pool of blood suddenly began to churn. Accompanied by an earth-shattering hiss, a blood-red behemoth broke out of the pool of blood. It was a blood demon, but it was much larger than an ordinary blood demon. It was more than 10 feet tall and had 6 arms with sharp blades. It looked more like some kind of arthropod insect and was extremely ugly and ferocious. Its ferocious fiendish aura also far surpassed that of a golden blood demon. The pressure it emitted was at least at the 8th level of the divine dwelling realm. Could that be the king of blood demons? Princess Luoho and the others exclaimed. The king of blood demons was the strongest existence among the blood demons. Princess Luoho had only heard of it. It was her first time seeing it. Who would have thought that such a ferocious king of blood demons would be standing in front of the final opportunity? For a moment, the 7 of them wore grave expressions. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.